And here's the opener. Play that beautiful bean footage. Nerds get stuck on it. I can't hear it, but you guys can. Suckers.
Ever wonder where your food came from and if it really was what they were telling you?
Ever imagine that what you were told to believe was actually far from the truth?
Ever looked up
I know,
at the
that
sky
one's
and
so good.
wondering what if there was something else out there?
Ever gazed off into the forest and thought something was looking back?
Did he give
Join
you
us
a
for a
happy
deep
face? 'Cause he
dive
gave
into
me
the
a
mysteries of
upset,
this world
angry
and what
face.
may be hiding just beneath the surface on another exciting episode of Coffee and
grump?
Conspiracies.
All right, grump.
Yeah. Gwump gwump.
Grump, grump. All right, we're back. I just had to throw that out there. You guys needed that one. You need to see that one because, you know, we need to keep ourselves on legal terms with the internet, okay? So
yeah,
guys,
this is all for entertainment purposes.
this is
do your own
entertainment.
research.
Exactly what she said. Do your own research. Oh, look behind. What? 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 What did that mean? All right, well, he's stealing my nuggies again. Grigorski's touching the nuggets, so we need to calm down. But anyways, we are talking about the extraterrestrial situation, the alien situation, all that fun stuff going on right now. This has been on my mind for many years. I hate that I can actually say decades now because I'm old as dirt, but I can say
literally decades.
Literally decades. I've been thinking about this since I was little, since I've had my own experiences. There's been a lot of things that have happened over the years that have caused me to believe in certain things that other people don't. Seeing is believing for a lot of people. For me, I just wanted these things to be real and eventually had my own moments where I couldn't deny it, which has essentially set my life up on a certain path that it's gone down and made me do certain things that I do and believe in things that I believe in. So the look behinds? No, I don't. Is that what you said? Oh, is that like an alien thing? What are we talking about? Z, this is what we need. Bring shit up. We'll look it up and we'll talk about it.
I mean, they always like it when you look behind a little bit, you know? Make that eye contact when you're getting probed.
I know I have something for this.
You like that, Daddy?
There it is. But yeah, so I don't even know where I was after that. Oh my god, twerking backwards on a fucking metal rod, making those aliens more uncomfortable than they made you. Is that the trick? If we're gonna go down that path, is that the trick? Do we need to like?
I think so. It's
if they're,
just
like,
oh,
doing stuff?
harder, Daddy.
Yeah, exactly. If they're doing stuff, do I just need to sit there and go?
It's like,
wait, why is this kid
I'm
making
afraid
this?
that
Why is
this
this?
one likes
What's going
it.
on? It's not alien, but yeah. Oh, it's not. Is that next week's episode? But yeah, make the aliens more uncomfortable. It's kind of like treat them like a kick troll, right? You got to make them more uncomfortable than they make you. So you just got to sit there and you just got to moan real loud while they're doing it. Even if it hurts, you just got to moan real loud because you know that's going to put them in a weird spot. And they're going to have to just keep going because it's part of their job, right? They can't stop.
Like they're already in a pretty weird spot, but, you know.
They're not allowed to stop. Just got to keep it going. But yeah, guys, so I'm not even sure where we're going to start with this today, but we're going to do something with this because we are definitely going to be discussing this for a while. We're going to get down rabbit holes as we go like we did last time, and we're going to see where it goes. So I know a lot of people said they're going to tune in and just kind of hang out in the background and kind of just chill and all that fun stuff. My screen refreshed like 4 times and you did that thing 4 times. What the? That went 4 times on my screen.
To be like, I need
That
to be
was
a
good.
gift then, if that's the case.
That was good.
But,
just like last time, we'll have
if you guys
videos.
have, yes, we have videos. If you guys want to share your alien stories, by all means, you know, hit us up with that as well.
Yes, please
I
post in
don't
either of our
think
chats.
That there's so many stories. So many people have seen weird shit, and they're just like, oh well. But it's like, not oh well. What about what the fuck?
Yeah, exactly. Don't let this go. Don't forget that it exists. Like, we need to talk about these things.
You know?
I just unmuted your thing by accident, and it was on the what the fuck, and then I muted it.
What the fuck?
This is hilarious. But yeah, if anyone in the chat has any stories or anything they want us to talk about, feel free. If it's any friends that I know or have spoken with before, there's a chance that maybe I could pull you into Discord and you could have your moment to shine and have a communication with us about it. You know, bring on a guest. Just let us know. But we'll be going through our motions here. We'll be chilling, hanging out for a little while, and we'll see where this goes. But I have my thoughts. You know, obviously we can start off here. Like, I obviously believe because I've been through some shit. I've seen things I can't understand. I don't understand. And when I kind of started to understand in the future, I realized that it had no other explanation other than something not from this planet or something that was here before. You know, the conversation like they've been here before us kind of thing. Like we just kind of popped up like a virus or a parasite, but they were already here doing their thing. That's why they're further along than us. Going down my first rabbit hole, not that I have evidence of this, this is just fun conversation. Imagine if we were developing on land and not really getting anywhere other than hitting rocks with sticks and burning ourselves on fucking lightning created fire. But they were underwater with these little bases, technologically getting more advanced. And that's where like the whole Atlantis conversation that would have came from. Because like humans exaggerated everything. So like if we saw anything out of the ordinary floating over the water back in the day, they'd be like, flying rock, come out water, Atlantis. You know, like they, make shit up as they go.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think they kind of touched on that in one of the I think it was the second Star Wars or Star Trek film, sorry. When they went
one
to
of the
this
stars.
like primitive,
that's a good one.
They went to this primitive nation, and then they're just like, you exposed our ship to a primitive nation who barely discovered the wheel, and now they're writing about these sky gods and everything. So it's very similar to, I think, humans and our primitiveness, and even now how primitive we are. We seem to be regressing as of late. So
well, yeah, exactly. And we can like go through that part first, just like digging into that a little bit before we get into like any of our future videos and things that are like actually relevant to like nowadays stuff. Because if you look back on just the beginning of time, I've been obsessed with this kind of stuff. Any archaeological anything, any conversations that anyone had about like looking at, hieroglyphics and showing weird things in hieroglyphics that we can't understand. And, they were just drawing clouds and shit like that. I'm like, dude, that guy literally carved an astronaut suit into a fucking brick, into a, like, you know what I mean? Like there's stuff. What's up, Y2? I just can't deny stuff when it's from thousands of years ago and it's a cave painting of a spaceship, or this is what the Mayans did. Yes, it's like a cave painting of a spaceship, or they like preach to this god because it was in this like flying thing. And it's crazy that those things look like the things we have now. Like they drew rockets like we have rockets now. They drew spaceships like we think spaceships look now, like with flying discs that have lights coming off of it. And they thought it was like a moving sun or something. And it's like, where does this come from?
Not to mention, indigenous cultures have for centuries spoken of star people.
Yes.
And I just pulled this up here. Indigenous cultures worldwide, particularly in North America, have ancient oral traditions and rock art documenting star people, beings from the cosmos who taught, healed, and interacted with humanity. These entities are often considered ancestors or spiritual guides who arrive from constellations like the Pleiades.
Yep.
So these guys have been writing about them for years. I know of, from the Opi tribe particularly, mentions of the star people and how they would come and they would have these healing lights and orbs, which is funny because when most people die they also see orbs, but they have seen these like healing lights and orbs that have healed people and saved them from death. So it's interesting that even the most indigenous cultures have this thought. It's not a nuanced thing that started with Star Trek or Twilight Zone. It's something that's been around for a long time.
Yeah, and what's kind of interesting about that is I've heard, one of the things that got me really interested in this too was I've heard the word Pleiades and all of that stuff for a very long time. And that's before, this is the crazy part, before the internet, before conversations about this went online and people started kind of exchanging data and information and all that stuff. For me personally, I have always been talked to about the Pleiades star, the constellation in the sky, and that it's gonna sound super far-fetched, but like my grandmother is very spiritual, very, very spiritual. And I've gone to some of these Native American festivals and things like that. And she spoke about the Pleiades before I even had a cell phone, or before we had a computer, or before, you know, Windows existed, or any of this stuff. And it's like, where did you learn this word? Where did you learn this stuff? Like, she's lived in the middle of nowhere, and it was not from like books or anything like that, but I never really asked and never really found out where that came from. And it stuck with me my entire life, because I was told, or when I was younger, you know, you absorb these fanatical things and you don't know any better, but also nowadays it's kind of sticking with me. She said to me a long time ago, you are a descendant of some of them that were here a long time ago. And I was like, didn't really know what that meant. And I didn't get it. And now that I'm hearing about all these hybrid, do I know any of this for real? No, who does? But it's one of those, like, the conversation came up where it's same like you said, they've been here, they've created hybrids, they've looked like us. They're the one species that apparently looks like humans more than humans do, or they look like humans now because more people have gone and meshed with them and things like that. But it also traces back to like a higher, not saying I'm smart or anything, but like a higher intelligence in the spiritual realm of things, not like doing math and shit, but like being more questioning of things, being more open to things, being more, you know, communicative, emotional conversation. You can have more intelligent conversations with people. You don't stick to one realm of thinking. You kind of absorb multiple levels of thinking, and you see all the bullet points from everyone, and you're able to kind of figure it all out. But you also have like a more open mindset towards fantastical things, I guess you could say. Like, you don't have a fear of, you know, mystical things. Like, if somebody took a mask off and it was a lizard person or something tomorrow, I'd be like, cool, that's cool. Like, it's not like I'm gonna scream and run for the hills. I'd be like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Or if like a ship came down and took over our entire sky and lights started blinking and whatever, I'd be like, it's about fucking time. You know, it's not like you're not in this like one mindset. Like, if you, and I'm gonna say this to chat, like, I don't want to take your whole time chatting either. Like, I want to let you talk. But because this is how I
Nobody wants to hear me talk.
There's no way you're 40, Cosmo, because Windows is 40 years old. No. My grandmother, before Z-Born, before me, she's in her I'm talking way before me. And I'm turning 36, so we're getting there. Like the TV show V, yeah, exactly. So where the fuck was I going with this? So it's one of those, where was I? Damn it! It was so good. What was it?
You're talking about the Pleiades people. You were, I don't know where you were going with it, because you stopped and answered a question.
It was like a higher mindset. You're doing this, you're doing that. It's coming back. Hold on, it's coming back. Hold on. I'm bugging. Oh my God, it's coming back.
You were talking about if lizard people expose themselves and blah, blah, blah.
I don't remember. And I was in it. I was in it. This is what rabbit holes do. You're in it, and then when they're gone,
you can't look at chat. You can't look at chat when you're on these
you're
things.
All dead to me.
The second your attention will, yeah. Because I get it. Like, if I read something, then it'll throw me.
No, Z, you're totally fine, dude. This is where this is supposed to go. This is where we want this to go. That's funny, dude. I literally blanked. Gone. But
maybe this will like refresh you. I'll just, for the chat and for everybody, I'm just going to give like a history of like who the Pleiadians are. So they're described as a new age belief as advanced, benevolent, humanoid extraterrestrials from the Pleiades star cluster, often appearing as tall, fair-skinned, and Nordic-like. I'm very pale and Nordic. That's
goddamn white people.
Hilarious. That's fucking hilarious. They are considered starseeds focused on assisting Earth's spiritual evolution, environmental sustainability, and peace. Culturally, the cluster is globally recognized as the Seven Sisters and various myths. Appearing in the appearance in nature, often depicted as physically beautiful, youthful, and highly evolved with predominantly female-driven society. Their mission is they are believed to be guiding humanity towards a higher consciousness, offering wisdom and promoting peace. Interactions are described as taking place through meditation, channeling, or dreams, but starseeds are individuals who believe their soul originated in the Pleiades, often feeling like old souls and a feeling of strong sense of purpose to heal and to teach, which I think both of us have a little bit of, and I know a few people like ourselves who
you got me back
always
to my
felt
thought
a little
too,
out
so
of place. There you go.
You fixed it. It was what I was getting. I can't believe it came back. Oh, it's gone again. No, I'm just kidding. What happened was, where I was going with that was basically going to say to chat and to you and to everyone else who's listening in the background right now to this, is if you think about what she just said, right? If you feel like you've ever just kind of sat there and rolled your eyes at people your own age because you feel like they are just all on the same wavelength and you're just sitting outside of it watching, or if, you know, you're watching things like politics, or you're watching the news, or you're listening to your family speak on something or your friends speak on something, and you just feel like you're sitting in a bubble by yourself and you're not on the same level that they are, and you can't understand, and you start comprehending these things and you can't understand how they think the way they all think in this uniform way, and you just can't go to their mindset. Like, I can't tell you how easy it would be if I could just fit in with the masses and completely just be with them and say what they say and parade with them on the way they parade and do everything, but I can't. I don't feel like I'm above anybody, but I also don't feel like I'm in the massive group of people that is humans. I don't think I'm anything outside of being a human, but this is why it's hard. I've had a very hard time my entire life making friendships, getting best friends, keeping friends. I always see these people being like, even in high school, like, think back, they go and they have all these groups, they play sports, they do all these things. All of a sudden, all these people are just friends, and they have best friends, and they do sleepovers and all this other stuff. And I was never like an unattractive person or a mean person or anything like that, but I never clicked with a group. I never became, I tried, but it was just something about it. They would just say something or they would do something, and maybe I was just weird. Who knows? Well, that's part of it. It's like they would say something or do something, and I just couldn't vibe with it. I couldn't be a part of it. I wasn't vibrating on the same level that they were. But then I would go home and I was like researching tarot cards and crystals and incense and hitting all the senses and doing all this stuff. And I would always just like stare up at the sky, and like, I can't tell you how many times I walk by my window and I look out and I see the moon in the sky, and I was like, I just want to go there. Like, I just want to go places. I don't want to be here. I have like dreams where I was flying when I was younger, and I would wake up literally slamming into my bed, and I would bounce 2 feet off my bed and land on the floor. Like, I was actually up there doing something, like my spirit was floating around, like astral projecting, like shit like that. And I'm always thinking I know more than other people without knowing. Like, I feel like I have this unlimited useless knowledge, unlimited nonsense in my brain that means absolutely nothing until it's required, and then it means everything. Like, there's almost nothing I can't do to an extent. I can never master anything. I'm just good enough at everything. I'm never like amazing at something because I'm never focusing on that one thing. I'm just good enough at a lot of things. So it's that old like soul situation where you've probably done a little bit of everything and you're just retaining a tiny bit of like knowledge over the years. So when I was told I was this potential thing when I was younger, and to do research on it, and then a psychic told our family the same thing, and that we needed to look into it, and it was for me and my sister, not just me, that's where my sort of experiences in my life, which again, it's sad because I haven't really had one in a long time, but I had 3 that really stuck with me when I was growing up. That kind of made me feel like I was being watched or monitored. So that's why that whole alien conversation really hits home with me. Because again, seeing is believing, or experiencing is believing. And no matter what you're told, if you experience something, you're going to pay attention to it, right? So that's essentially what happened to me. And I won't dig into it yet until we're ready to like talk about it and stuff. I'll let you, but like, that's my thought process.
I mean, I don't think we have any real structure here. If you feel like continuing, go ahead. We got time, man.
Y2 said, what if I told you I was into conspiracy stuff, like who runs the world when I was only 8 years old, all the way to who controls the money, and why I can't redeem it for gold from Bank of England, all that burden I was 10 used to question everything. Exactly. You were 8 to 10 years old, and you were already thinking on a level that's considered much higher than your age group because you were questioning things. Mm-hmm. I used to have a recurring dream till I got a handmade dream catcher from a native Indian, and now I don't have them. So I had a lot of beliefs growing up, and I also had rooms full of dream catchers. I would always have a dream catcher or two, but I didn't realize that technically, in theory, you should switch them out, essentially, like flypaper. Like they supposedly get full, and you're supposed to like remove them and cleanse them and restring and all that stuff. I didn't know that. So like they would be good for a while, and then I would have a fucking nightmare after like a few years. Like it was like full and I couldn't do anything with it. But so I could dig into my story first. I do want to get into yours too, because yours are cool, and then we can kind of read over some of our fun, show some videos and stuff. Striker, I have a giant dream catcher. I think there's a way to cleanse them. Yeah, you're supposed to. You're supposed to cleanse them because they do get full, and if they start leaking, you get your crap back in your brain. It's not pretty. But my first experience after being told I'm this and that and whatever, as you're a kid, you know, you start growing up and you forget these things, right? You forget you're thinking about this. You're going through middle school, high school. You don't have time in your little brain to really sit down and pay attention to the craziness. Like I had some ghost moments and some spirits things, but no real alien things. I talked about this on a paranormal podcast a while ago, if anyone was there for that. But when I was growing up, I don't remember what age I was. Again, I can barely remember yesterday, but I think it was somewhere around like 13 or 14, maybe. My sister was old enough to ride her bike. I was old enough to ride my bike. And where we lived at the time was early on in high school, like freshman, sophomore time frame. And when, like Kat said, when stories corroborate with each other and it's not just you, that's when you can't really not pay attention to it, right? When other people are involved and you all have the same story. So my sister and I decided we were going to go ride our bikes. It was a nice day out. So we went out of the house early in the night. It was light out. The sun was out. It was good. You had to be home before it was dark kind of thing. The normal kind of growing up in the 90s scenario. And we went down the road and around the block, and that was all we remember. We were around the corner and we had gone around the corner, and I can never forget this because these are memories that don't go away. And we were on the sidewalk, and I don't remember if it was me or her, again, no details of that nature, said there's something in the sky. We both looked up at the sky at the same time, and we saw like what looked like a little green dot really far away. This was not like close. This was like above clouds. Like this was, and it was a nice night out. This was like really far away. And that's when I had my first experience with the triangle. It was the triangle ship that everyone draws pictures of and shit. And it had like, and that's why I have this color in the background.
I just gotta chill.
It was like this green, and that's behind me, but that was the light on it. And it was 3 lights and one in the middle. So it was, each corner of the triangle had a green light on it, and the middle, and I'll never forget, it was green. And it was light out too, and you could see this. And what happened was, I remember that, and then I remember that one turned into 100,000. And by 100,000, I mean, this is where I had a theory that the Earth was surrounded by like a grid at all times. So it turned into like literally like a net. It just became a grid of green dots, and it was the entire sky. It was very high up, like almost like it was so big it was in space, and I could see it. It was like the size of a Dorito in the sky, but it was really far away, and the whole sky turned into them, and then it was gone. And when I tell you they blinked out, when they blinked out, it was dark. So it went from like, let's say 4 o'clock in the afternoon, light outside, seeing the green dot, turned into a triangle, turned into a grid, and then all of it didn't flash or anything. It's just as if it just wasn't there. It was just gone. And it was nighttime now. And we both looked at each other confused because we thought we'd only been away from home for like 10 minutes. We shot back home, and my mom was like, "You've been gone for hours."
Yeah.
You've been gone for hours. Now, she said me and my sister were like dead faced. Like,
that's wild.
We were like dead faced. We didn't think of anything. We didn't remember those things. None of that. It took about 5 to 6 years. And all of a sudden I got my memory back, and she got her memory back. And all of a sudden I remembered the ship. I remembered the green. She remembered the ship in the green and like whatever that was. And she remembers losing time. And my mom suddenly brought it back up, and it triggered both of us. And we both brought it up one day when we were like eating or something as a family. And I went, "Oh yeah, that did happen." And my mom's like, "You guys have never spoken to me about that night." and now you both have the same memories of what happened that night coming back at the same time, and now we're talking about it, and I have never brought it up that you guys were weird and had like lost time and didn't know where you had been for 3 or 4 hours, and I didn't really question it. I was just like, okay, we'll go to bed. And that was my first experience. CZ, I don't know if I don't think I was abducted. I think they have some way of just like making whatever they had to do, or whatever that was, had to do its thing, but it had some like fail safe to make you not remember it if anyone was seeing it.
Do you think it's like they can almost, they're like hyper aware of our presence and our thoughts almost? Because it seems like anyone who has an alien encounter like this has a similar experience, but also it feels like they know when they're being observed. Do you know what I mean?
You have a weird feeling like you have to look up or something, right?
That, and like for them, like I feel like they know when they're being observed. Like I feel like they know when they're being witnessed, and I feel like they probably take it all into consideration. But from everybody that has had encounters with them, and we'll get into that later with like later with the videos that I sent you from Varginha in Brazil, but.
Oh, that's gonna be good.
They all spoke telepathically to the people, so it's almost like they know our thoughts. They can, like, they almost have like a hyper spidey sense of like knowing when they're being witnessed, sort of thing.
They're just gonna see a lot of boobs. I'm just kidding.
Boobs.
I gotta clear my browsing history. Hold on. Ah! No. They only tune into mine every time I'm in the shower. Goddamn perverts. No, but I totally get what you're saying. It makes total sense. Because that was the same thing. Like how it was either going to be something like that. So I have three theories with that night, because I had 2 other ones that kind of stuck with me. But just like Bigfoot, I think Bigfoot's another night. I think he teleports and shit through dimensional portals. But I have 3 theories.
What if Bigfoot's just there like Chewbacca? What if
literally,
he's like, there's Chewbacca and he's just like out for a roam, you know?
What if he just teleports into random forests because he specifically likes this one mushroom that's only grown on Earth under this specific trees or something, and he just brings it back to his planet?
Stuff. Yeah.
He just brings it back to his planet to cook it. He's like, hey, honey, we're out of that fucking shiitake mushroom again. And he's just like, son of a bitch, I gotta go back to the humans. Damn it.
Oh man, this is gonna get on the news. I fucking know it.
Imagine. That would be hilarious. Lacey, Bigfoot is the new season of Fallout 76 in a couple of days, funny enough. Oh my god. It's actually good. I think it's Caesar from Planet of the Apes. It could be. But 3 theories of that night that happened. Either it's not technically a quote-unquote active flying around visiting us alien spaceship, but rather what I have a vague memory of is a grid pattern that appeared over the sky. I think something got too close to that one ship or that one thing when we were both just happened to be out, and it triggered the entire grid to react to it. So just picture this. This is a real fun conspiracy that I'm throwing out there now that's going to be a thing now. Because I saw the green dots sort of ripple from this one point out across the whole sky into like a net of triangles. What if the planet Earth has, like for a very long time, actually been like netted to an extent? Like what if there has been some type of cloaked grid around the planet, kind of whatever the purpose of it is, like we have life here, whatever, like gridded around us, because we are still fighting with the moon landing thing that we faked it or whatever. We don't know for a fact if our probes go anywhere or whatever. Maybe they just let them out. Who knows? Our shit is gravity. We don't understand it, but it's happening, and it's keeping everything close to the planet. I saw this. I can never forget that grid. I'm telling you right now, I can never forget that net of green dots. I have had nightmares about this thing. And everyone's saying like the Earth, you know, do we actually ever leave the planet? Does anything ever actually go anywhere? Nobody knows this. Only like 10 people actually deal with this stuff on the whole planet, blah, blah, blah. Like, who knows?
Well, I mean, I think that can easily be debunked by the people who actually go to the space station, though.
But what if it's past that?
But, like, I mean, like, they would have to fake it all, they would have to fake the videos of the astronauts going into the ship, on the ship, then the rocket taking off with the people on the ship, the
I know.
live video, because it's all live video.
People were there
of them
watching
being
it.
on the ship and stuff, and then like people are there watching it. Like you can go to any rocket, like, you know, blast off and see it, and then also just like the experiences, like, you know, Hatfield and everything up there, the experiences they've had up there, the research they have from being up there. So I just feel like the faking of it all is just like a little bit much to me.
I would have to
Like,
look
I know-
into that by itself, because there's videos that I don't know if they're fake or not. I don't know if the videos are fake of like the astronauts doing like the water test up on the space station, but then they have a glass on the table next to them with water in it and it's not floating. Like, I don't know if it's real or not
also,
fake.
Like, my friend works for NASA making like some of the technology to help, you know, their shuttles and everything in space, like the solar
protect
sails
them and all
and
that.
everything like that. So it's like, why would is his job fake? Like, I don't think so. You know, he's too autistic to keep that a secret as well.
Let me do this real quick. Too autistic to keep that a secret. I like that. Well, that's just one, you know, because I saw the grid. Two is, my second one is that there is just, they have an overwhelming sort of technology where they can freeze time to a, like, I don't think they froze time. I think they froze enough people mentally in an area that would have seen them that you think time froze. So like anyone who would have seen it, right? So maybe I was on, what's up, Alani? Maybe I, my sister, and maybe like 1,000 other people that may have looked up or whatever, somehow got like mentally jammed and stuck. Like, for all I know, we were standing on the side of the road and people were driving by and people just weren't questioning us looking stupid as fuck looking at the sky for 2 hours. You know, like, I don't know. That could have been terrifying by itself, but I think they have like a technology where if they ever show themselves, it's just like a natural thing that happens, that it's in the just in case protocol, that it just flashes everyone and they're, you know, cooked for a few hours or something. They forget it.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know what I mean? Or the third one kind of goes off of what you were saying. It only affects certain people. And that would be people related to quote unquote them or the Pleiades or somebody who's sensitive to it because of certain things that they go through, who's more naturally sensitive.
Like maybe the Pleiades people are like their sleeper agents.
Maybe that's them. Yeah, maybe that's them. Maybe me and her froze because we needed to, like, who knows? Maybe I needed to see it because they needed to send me something. Maybe they needed to download something. Maybe they needed to check on me. Maybe they needed.
Maybe they wanted you to have this very conversation.
Maybe this, or maybe they did take us up, like Z said, and we got tested on or whatever. You know, blah blah blah, and they sent me back and sent her. Like, who knows? Like, maybe only the people who would have been affected by seeing this were the ones that were sensitive to it because they have a part in it, kind of situation. So there's either like, because I saw the grid thing, I really can't forget that. There's got to be some type of a mental connection to these things because it's happened. I've had more than just this happen. Zex, what's going on? I've had more than just this happen. And then we both lost our memory for 5 years on the dot. It was actually 5 years on the dot, which is crazy until it came back. So that was my first one that I didn't even believe in until 5 years later because I didn't even remember it happened.
It's interesting because in both of our chats, two people have both said that, you know, that our solar system is being quarantined due to the aggressive nature of humans, which could.
Dude, whoever
very
said
well
that is
be.
a genius.
There's Lisi in your chat, and then there's Saint in my chat that both have said it. Now my thoughts on that would be, or what if we are just a social experiment? What if we were out and about, you know, in the rest of the galaxy? What if there are humans, like actual humans in other solar systems, but this particular one, like on Earth, we've been sent here because perhaps we're like
Thank you,
broken?
Wolf.
But maybe there's some of us that aren't, and maybe they're just looking out for us and everything like that. Maybe there has to be a certain number of us to make it not so crazy, you know?
So I've thought that either, so to kind of segue to what you just said, I've thought that either the Earth was, so I've had a firm belief for a very long time after I started believing in this stuff, right? Like I had to believe in this in order to figure if it was real or not. So I've had a firm belief that the Earth is sort of, computer generated. Could be. Know about you and your streamer friend here, but I believe in Klingons. I hope you do, because it's probably out there. That Earth is it's either a training ground, or it's like a necessity for growth, advancement physically. Like you, and that makes me laugh, because if I have this, if there's no Pleiades or anything like that, and there's no old soul thought and whatever, and there's just, I feel like an old soul because I failed Earth so many times, they keep putting me back to retake the course, I'm gonna be pissed.
I know, it's like,
get me the fuck out of here!
I learned, I don't want to be here anymore.
Don't hold me back anymore. That's the other thing. Like, what if these like reoccurring like people who feel like they've been reincarnated, it's because you suck and you failed every time you failed the class, so they send you back when you get your assessment. But that was a thought I've had for a while, that Earth would be more of a, and that would make sense if there's a grid around the planet, or if we're being watched by other humans, or blah blah blah. And that's where things like The Simpsons and all that stuff can be hilariously tied into this, that maybe that's like there are sleeper agents, or there's people from this community who are put here to make sure we don't, I don't know, they can't really intervene because we're supposed to do this ourselves, but they also are kind of like guidance counselors kind of set up everywhere to kind of do little bits and pieces here and there.
There's something that Saint just said that just like definitely has been on my mind a little bit recently as well. But he said, I mean, humans need to change our environment to suit our own needs. I don't think many other species need to if they're evolved to suit the areas they live in. So there's a possibility we're not even native to the planet. And that's something that I had been thinking about as well. So it's interesting Saint brought it up, is that, like, for example, here in the north right now in Canada, and I've said it to my mom even, I was just like, why the fuck would we live all the way up here? Like, the only thing suitable that has kept us alive is our intelligence. What if our intelligence is the only thing that's, and it really truly is when it comes to humanity. Our intelligence is the only thing that has kept us alive. Whereas with animals, it's innate in them. We've got polar bears who live in the north. They're meant to live in the north. They don't need any intelligence. They just survive there. They've evolved to survive there without that intelligence. Why are humans so unique to have this intelligence? You know what I mean? Like, even crows, as intelligent and as like the crows are, what are they called? I forget. But anyway, that one species of crow, I believe me,
Z in my chat.
We're computer generated. Oh
no, the one below it, because we can, with the Canadian flag.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. And I said to my mom, I was like, why would we live here? Why would not humans live like more in a zone such as, for example, California and stuff, where they don't have frigidly cold winters. We just need to hide from the rain and stuff like that. But like in temperate zones where we can be comfortable in our naked, hairless bodies. Well, not hairless. I mean, I've seen some people, but like, why would we be expansive all over the globe in the way that we are? And there's a lot of people like say, it's like, oh, because, we've adapted from those regions and we've moved out. But like, for example, the heart of humanity stems in Africa. Now, Africa is a place that we could thrive in, right? Other than getting into shade to stay out of the sun, we can all thrive there because it's a temperature that we can all survive in.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Then we kind of expanded out as our intelligence grew. We expanded out because we were like, okay, well, if we're going to go to this region, we're going to need, coats, and we're going to need cloaks and things to keep the cold weather off of us. So then we adapt to that and everything. So it is an interesting concept.
I like that concept too, because this is going to go into some controversy, but I've always had this feeling in my bones that I go through these waves where I'm like, I don't say I like people or I don't like people. I say I either like the humans or I don't like the humans, because I've never felt like a human. I've never felt like I am comfortable enough with myself to say, right? And that's why I think a lot of people like you and me who are like-minded end up finding each other. And I found a lot of people that feel this way And it's interesting because we're consistently going in circles and finding people we connect like this, but we never. What's interesting about that, and again, I'm tangenting off of what I actually wanted to say, is you never live near these people. You're never close to them. You're always 1,000 miles away. They're never your neighbor. They're never down the road. It's almost like you're handpicked to be somewhere where you're not going to have people
You're my
you can get
Ohio
together.
brother.
Yes, you can't have a group of these people together all at once having these conversations in person. I'd literally have you sitting right here. We'd be going to town on this. Like, you'd have your own computer right here. You'd be doing your thing. Like, we'd be figuring this out. Seriously.
Nerding out and be like, actually.
You're never near these people. And that's why I've never had friends that I've stayed with in person. I don't remember anyone from middle school. I don't give a shit about anyone from high school. I even hate everyone I met in college. And it's just because I didn't have this sort of a feeling. And what's crazy is when I started streaming, I didn't even want to stream. I didn't even want to like go live on camera. But as soon as I did, I met all these amazing people, and my community has single-handedly been built around people who wouldn't argue with anything we're saying right now. They are 100% on board with all of this. If anything, it's somebody who's not a believer in anything, but really fucking wants it to be real, because Earth is boring as shit. If we don't have any of this cool stuff, it's boring, it's dirty, and there's nothing else going for us. So like, we need cool shit. But to go back to your point of, my music keeps stopping in the background, and it's helping me with my thoughts having it, and it keeps stopping because Discord has that fucking rule where every like 5 minutes it stops your music.
I was wondering why my music stopped.
Yeah, it's a Discord thing. Discord has this
Discord.
like, if you're streaming and you're blah, 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 we're going to stop your music because of some legal thing after 5 minutes. I read into it. It's stupid.
Yeah,
but
it is stupid because this music isn't even like the one that I have is not even like a record thing. It's just a mix of X-Files.
Yeah, I have the DMCA free thing or whatever. But again, I lost it. What was your last thing you talked about?
We were talking about how humans like, or you were saying that
here.
we wouldn't live here. Yeah.
Good point. So that was an amazing point that you had, because if you look, and here's a fun one for people to think about. If you look at, and you and me have talked about this before, if you look at the Earth, now that we can see it from the space station or from a satellite or from something, if you look at the Earth at night from all the way up above and you see all of our fucking lights on and where we live, it looks like a virus spreading across a body. It literally looks like a virus, the exact path it would take, spreading out across a network that is a living cell or an organism. You look at a petri dish with all that shit running across it, and you put it up against the Earth, they're identical in their own way. So after that little bug got put in my brain, I've only ever seen people on the planet as a virus, and destroying somewhere that they, again, like you said, don't belong. You put wolves, you put elk, you put polar bears, you put brown bears, you put mice, you put bugs, you put birds, you put everything down from bacteria all the way up to a fucking dinosaur walking the planet. They never destroyed the planet. They live within it. They move around it like it's part of their body. They wave in patterns. Animals follow the same game trail because they don't want to ruin the brush and their chances of getting food.
Balance.
And there's a balance. They all have this comfortable, natural, gravity pulled. Exactly. Yeah. Why do animals consistently follow the same path? It's not just instinctual, it has a purpose, because it's stopping them from destroying the forest or wrecking the herbs and all this stuff. Like, there's so many things out there where humans have potentially destroyed themselves because maybe there's this one purple flower in the Amazon.
We're stomping on shit.
We're stomping on shit. Maybe there's this one purple flower in the Amazon that could have cured cancer or diabetes or whatever, but we plowed over it and now it's gone and it's never coming back and we're fucked and everyone with that disease is just gonna die. Like, we screwed things over. And why are we, who have been on this planet for how long, still getting sick from the bacteria and the viruses and all of that stuff that animals are immune to? Why is there just human brand things that are affecting us? And then you see astronauts and NASA and all them talk about the stuff where we don't want to corrupt stuff from space we bring back with our bacteria and our viruses because it's going to be harmful. If an alien species came here, it might die because it's unable to have an immune system to our stuff. If we go somewhere else, we might die because we don't have an immune system to their stuff. Why do we still get sick from things on this planet that everyone else is fine. Why is my cat not getting, the flu when I have it? Why? You got to think about these things. And I can't keep being told because, it only affects people. Like, you start thinking about that and you're like, you go to your conversation. Again, I'm sticking to conspiracy buckets here. And you go to your conversation and that makes sense. If we are not from here, if we never belonged here, here is going to try to kill us all the time because it doesn't want us here. We're an outside parasite that needs to get the fuck off. And we're acting like it. Cutting down the trees.
That's actually
polluting the water.
You just triggered a memory.
Okay. Cutting down the trees, polluting the water. Look, and I'm not trying to bring this up to rag on any community, any culture, nothing. This is humans as a whole. But like, look at India. The rivers are mucked up with trash. People are peeing in the water. They're drinking the crap. Like, the air smells like trash. You come over here, we're polluting water with oil. We're dumping our toxic waste in the rivers in America. Like, we're doing all this shit. We are literally the virus. And all these people saying global warming and killing the planet and humans need to do better. And we weren't like this 100 years ago. Think back. And even if you have the evolution conversation, humans one day, and this is where you have to think about it. There's the evolution conversation. Oh, we came from bacteria or a fish that crawled on land or something. Okay, that's one way of thinking it. And then there's the people who believe in the biblical sense of things where Adam and Eve were just created and they were here suddenly and they started making babies and doing this thing, which also can't be true because if they were the only two people on this planet, we would all be related, period. There would be no random genetics. Nobody would look any different. We'd all be the white, blonde haired, blue eyed, whatever the fuck it was in the Bible. And we'd all be related fucking our brother and sisters. Like, that's just the way it would be. Like, they were literally the only people that existed. So think about where that came from. If you want to dig down deep, everybody's having Sweet Home Alabama thoughts at this point. So that being said, what if that's true? To your point.
Yeah.
What if that was a test? What if God, who was a species of human somewhere else, was like, this planet looks cool, plopped a few of us down on it and said, let's see if they survive. And they survived. And then they're like, cool, let's move a bunch of them there, put a bunch of people down here. They all survived and they started doing their thing. You just got flashbanged on my screen.
Yes. I am definitely flashbang because I fucking hate the fact that Wikipedia doesn't have a dark mode.
No, it doesn't. So what if aliens aren't aliens? What if they are legitimately humans that are still testing this planet out to see if we can eventually be able to live here, and all we're doing is fucking it up and destroying it? Like, oh my God, it just makes sense. Like, it just makes sense because when you think back, the earth is beautiful. Everywhere it is so nice and it's perfect. But anywhere a human goes that there's not already a paved over road, we're basically, everything there is going to kill us. Everything is trying to kill us. You walk out into the middle of an uninhabited forest, we have no protections whatsoever to that forest. If it gets cold, we're dead. If it gets too hot, we're dehydrated, we're dead. If we can't drink the water because there's bugs and bacteria and parasites in it, we're dead. You can't eat the berries or the mushrooms because there's a 90% chance they're poisonous and you're dead. Like, we don't have any instincts for this planet. We have nothing. We have nothing. We had to build all this nonsense to be fine. Like, there's a squirrel sitting outside of my house right now in a tree in a tiny little nest in negative 10-degree weather, totally fine, chewing on nuts. And he's warm because he's covered in fur. He's fine. He's going to survive the winter. He's going to come out in the spring and summer. He's going to have a great fucking time. If I did the same thing he did right now, living where I live, I'm dead. I need all these medications to survive. They don't. Why do I need 40 pills to like live on planet Earth?
So I've been trying to find the cave. I'll find it eventually at some time.
Yeah.
But it's giving me a lot of like other things, and I'm sure if I had time I could find it exactly. But there is a cave system that they found, and I feel I might be wrong, but I'm fairly certain it was in Africa, and humans were buried with their cause of death as to what killed them, and this is how they started to record what was poisonous or not. And I'm trying to figure out where they found this, but I'm pretty certain it was in Africa, which would make sense because, like I said, that was basically like for example, the cradle of humankind, and it might be related to that, is in just north of Johannesburg in South Africa. But essentially, a lot of recorded human history and evolution is stemmed in that region. But causes of death was recorded with, so like if they ate something, it was recorded what they ate, an example of it even at times, and then, you know, what happened to them. And this is how they discovered where they found poisons, what was poisonous to us, and everything like that. So I think that's a good point as well, that we were learning to adapt to our own environment, where it seems like, yes, birds and things like that, they do learn from behaviors over time. Like, for example, the deer who now know how to take transit in Japan, who get on trains and know exactly where the train is going based on the scent, and knowing, oh, well, this will take me back to the forest for the night.
We made
and then
them do
this
that.
one will take me to, and well, we didn't make them, but they learned. You know, they got on.
No, but that's
like,
what I mean. We disrupt ecosystems.
Yes, but they were like, okay, but I mean, like, more so about the evolution of themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Right now, like they've evolved to go from the forest to downtown, where they know they'll get fed, and then get back on the same trains to go because they have the scent to do so. But then their babies learn to do the exact same thing, so it's just a learned evolution. But it's also due to the human interference of it. But in some ways, we are giving them like a convenience and of sorts. But also with these deer, they're having to learn how to process complex carbs because of the foods that we're feeding them. Because most of the time, if you feed deer breads, corns, high carbonated carbohydrate based foods, it tends to inflame their intestines and everything, which ultimately leads them to die of starvation, because their body, like celiac disease, stops absorbing their nutrients because of the inflammation in their intestines. So there's a lot of interference that is not good for them, but then they're also learning to adapt from that. But it seems like you to circle round, humans have had a more difficult time adapting here, which makes sense that also the Great Pyramids are in Africa, these caves are in Africa, and most of humanity all started in that little Pangea of Africa.
It makes sense,
you know?
And like that's also like, God, it sucks, but like that also makes sense in the way that like I never like saying the Bible's right about something, right? Or believing it is, because I hate that book with a burning fucking passion. But
for real.
I hate books that tell us, I hate that there's like 5 books that are like the books. I just hate it so much. But that being said, it's evolution's cute, and I want that to be real, and it probably is in a sense. But humans kind of hit a plateau of not evolving. Like, we don't really do anything. We were always kind of human and never really became anything other than human. Like, when we have babies, yes, they become more immune to diseases, and, well, not anymore. Everyone's just getting more. They become more immune to, like, the flu or this or that. But then it's like, do they really? Because everyone that I've known for at least 100 years of talking to my grandparents and everything, we are being held back. Yeah, we've hit some weird point where, like, we have enough people living on an island, but they haven't evolved to be able to, like, do certain things with, like, that lifestyle. And people who live in cold weather haven't evolved to have thicker skin or a more heat, like their blood temperature isn't higher, or just thinking of anything that would happen with an animal that would make it easier. Like, they're not cold-blooded, they're still warm-blooded. Like, they're like, why have humans living on all these other crazy parts of the earth not genetically changed over 500 to 1,000 years like the animals in that area have to better themselves for that environment? Like, we should have people
like,
that look like Sasquatch up in the Arctic, because they've lived there their whole lives, and they should be hairy enough to, you know, whatever. And we should have people on an island who are able to, like, swim with fins or whatever, because their body should have recognized that as a need. Or we should have, people living in 120 degree temperatures in the desert still not getting dehydrated and dying. They should be able to absorb water like a camel and hold on to that bitch for 2 weeks. Like, why are we all still sensitively dying to all these things when our families have lived there for hundreds of years? I don't.
Yeah. Like, for example, like when I studied like animal biology and nutrition and everything like that, one of the things that people were often coming into the shop about was, oh, I need to get booties for my dog. And this was like in Toronto, and I'm just like, oh, for the salt. And they're like, no, because it's cold. And I'm like, okay, here we go. So let me explain it to them. Wild dogs' feet do experience cold. They also have a specialized circulation system in their feet so that their feet don't actually freeze. So the pads of their feet, they have a specialized feature the same way as birds, where their feet won't freeze. It has to be extremely fucking cold, like north, like Antarctica cold.
Yeah.
For it to affect them. Sled dogs in the Arctic, they wear protection on their feet, not for the cold, but because their paws will, like anything when you're running for a long period of time, will get like scraped up and stuff. So it's just to protect their feet from getting cut from the ice and things like that.
Yeah.
But it's not because of the cold. Those booties don't protect them from the cold. It's just a little piece of leather that they wrap up around their feet. But humans don't have that. We've lived up there with the dogs for thousands of years now, and we still can't control the circulation in our lower bodies, in our hands, to keep our hands and feet warm from freezing.
Can't do shit.
Birds can, bears can, dogs can. We're stuck.
We're not moving, and we haven't moved since humans have been on this planet in writing. Like, we've known people to live here. They look back at, they take the DNA of hair from like 10,000 years ago. If they find it on something, it's the same as now. They go back and they see like the scribed out wording of like the ancient Egyptians and all that stuff. Yeah, they were tanner or whatever, because yes, we have different quote unquote ethnicities of humans, but genetically, not really that much different. Why can we all breed with each other regardless of how we look? Because our bodies on the inside are all the fucking same. So like, I'm sorry, but like, we're not evolving in the sense that evolution needs to happen. We're not physically changing. I mean, if anything, like you said, we're going backwards. We're going fucking, we hit like this plateau at one point, and now all of a sudden people are starting to degrade down. Like autism's becoming more of a thing. Diseases are becoming more rampant.
I think we might need to do more shrooms. I don't
fucking
know.
Might,
it's
dude.
Worth the experiment.
But that's a good point. We are all blue bloods. Yeah. So that's a good point. When you get to the thought of the Bible or evolution, I think if we quote unquote, and I'm not religious in any means, guys, but when you think about these things, you have to, whatever's on your mind, you just got to say it. And I think if we evolved on this planet because we belonged here, we would be immune to a lot of things, and we would still be evolving as we went. There is no stopping evolution if you are currently evolving on a planet. It will continue to happen forever as your environment changes, like it does with animals. So why are we just how we were then and we're the same way now? Period. Yeah. There were super smart people back then who could look at the sky and tell constellations and shit, and they're super smart people now.
And why can't I turn water into wine? I mean, I have to go through a whole fucking process to do it. I can't just dip my finger in it and be like, wine.
No, and it's done.
An awesome party trick and save me a lot of money in college. That's all I'm saying.
It would have been. But like, that's the thing. But then you look at the Bible and it says Adam and Eve were put here to learn and to see if something could happen, and told not to eat that thing and don't do this because you'll gain knowledge of where you came from, or you'll know too much and things like that. Oh well, they found out too much, so fuck it, we're gonna bail on Earth, just leave them here. I don't know, but like, that makes more sense to me. that people were put here and they weren't evolved from here, because we don't evolve. We don't. But if we were put here, then we're put here. It's like, if you put those two fucking things together, the put here one makes more sense.
Are we the plants?
Literally. Fucking literally. But like, that just makes I like that point that you made because it made me think, and it just makes sense, right? It just makes sense. I like that one.
Yeah.
I like that one. That's a good one because that's a good kind of roll with it thought process that we had there. I really enjoy that one. That's cool. That tickled the
That's
old
a good one. I'm
brain
gonna pat us on the back for this one.
because it
There you
feels
go.
real. That's one that I think is real. I think I'm gonna stick with that one. I think that one's hitting the real notes on that one.
This
I
is
like
why
that
I think
one.
that humans need to bring back the philosophy auditoriums and stuff where people sit in there and they just fucking talk and think, and it's just like, but maybe this,
Yeah.
maybe that, maybe this.
They can go through and like really pay
that.
attention and really go through a nice like conversational piece and a mindset about it and all that stuff. And yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I think that would be a really cool idea to have those like moments again when you can go through all this stuff. I agree.
Like Saint said, it's the expelling from the garden that makes most sense in this context. I'm gonna correct your English there though, because I can't say it like that because I'll kill myself if I say it like that. We were removed from a location and banished to here. Yes.
It could be. It could have been like
Yeah.
So that's the funny thing. It could have been a situation where like we're the prisoners, right? Like we are the bad
Yeah.
that was like, you know how many times are we talking
But
about like
I'm such a good girl. I don't want to be bad.
well, we probably evolved past that, right? But maybe you're the prison guard's daughter or something.
We're the Pleiades.
Exactly. Maybe we're like the watchers or the, you know, maybe we're the, oh fuck, what if we are the guidance counselors that are supposed to be reforming all these assholes and we're just not doing it? We just gave
Listen,
up
I
one
want to
day.
raise. I want to fucking raise.
I
on
want to
vacation.
fucking raise. Exactly. I need my PTO back, you little bastards.
Yeah.
But that's kind of interesting to say that too, because what if, you know how we're always talking about on Earth, like our prisons are too full because we have too many bad guys. And we always try to find a way to like dump out the prisoners somewhere else or move them to another building or something. What if Earth was the prisoners? What if Adam and Eve were like perverts or some shit, you know, and they were like put here and then they just started dumping. Earth just became like a prison and they just started
The
throwing
beginning
everyone
of
there.
the Epstein files started with Adam and Eve.
Literally, the beginning of the Epstein files started with Adam and Eve. Oh my god, dude! Could you imagine? This is like the way
They
that it
were
went,
creative. They had a background.
bro.
Yeah.
Bro, that would be some specialized conversations to have right there. But
Yeah.
I do. I agree with that. I think that makes the most sense. Honestly, I think people were put here, and I think they were put here not by a god, but by their own people. And I think their own people had their reasons for keeping them here, and we are just the children of the nonsense that happened back then. And I do firmly to kind of cap that one off. I firmly believe in that whole Pleiades conversation because that was brought up to me before I was even able to walk. You know, it was like, why is this a conversation that we're having? I've always believed in energy movement and spiritualism and being able to change your mindset based off of sounds and tones you hear and certain scents that you pick up, and you know why when you put your hand on someone can you feel sort of a vibration or a static and some heat, and you can kind of tell certain things. Why when two humans hug you get a different feeling? It's like you're connecting.
My friends and my family have always asked me to touch them and to like put my hands on them, and it's almost like I always knew where their pain was coming from, and I would touch the exact spot and I could work it out. And people always used to joke and call me a witch and stuff, and I was like, well, because maybe I am, but they would say it because it's just like you just know, like you just feel it out. And I know that I think of Reishi or whatever is based on that.
Reiki.
Reiki, yeah, Reishi mushroom Reiki, same thing, same. But
my mom does Reiki like professionally, and I've been attuned to it to the master's level. I can do it too.
Yeah, like it. But I mean, I've never had any training or anything like that with it. But like I know with my friend who she had a very bad car accident, and she would go to get massages and stuff, but she never felt right. And then one night she was really, really having a hard time with it, and she's just like, could you just try and like rub it? And I rubbed it, and she's like, I have never felt this good. And I'm like, I just figured the way that your head was, and it's just like this feeling. I was like, I feel like it's like just like right here, and it's
Yeah.
almost like I knew the nerves that were affecting her, and she's like, I feel so good.
Well, the other thing too, it's the movement of energy, right? So the thought process behind it is it's someone moving energy around or getting your flow back and moving healing energy to an area that may require it more than others, rather than just letting it have a natural flow over the body and just do what it wants to do. So when you do Reiki or you do something like that, in a sense, what made me sort of believe in it is you can feel the energy moving around your body. And that's the cool part, is they've proven that kinetic energy is real. They literally heat an entire mall in the world with people walking around it, creating kinetic energy. It's real.
Yeah.
They've proven that humans are just a giant electrical circuit board because our heart and everything runs off, and our nerve system is all electrical impulses. So why can't we have some type of our own little bodily force field on the outside, kind of like Earth, that's able to be manipulated? I mean, we literally have our own sense of gravity. Why, when you go into space or you're in zero gravity or you're underwater or whatever, your insides are exactly the same? No matter where you are, you're inside your body always has the same gravitational pull, always has the same level of balance, and it never changes. There's no reason for that. So that makes sense. So Reiki, essentially, when I was doing it,
And even our senses with like in tune with the position of the planets, for example, and like you had said, it's a planetary parade tonight and everything. But it's also during a very pivotal time because it's also Mercury retrograde as of the 26th. So before retrograde hit, I was already feeling it. I was
that's why you were feeling kind of
annoyed,
bummed
I
out
was
and
emotional. And I knew it. Like for me, I was like, I knew it was coming. But other people had mentioned to me like they feel tired, they feel drained, they just feel exhausted.
literally,
It feels like
I've
they
had
can't-
my ass handed to me for a week.
Yes, and I was like, it just so happens as Mercury retrograde. I know that everybody is gonna like say like, oh well, the stars can't affect us, but yet here we have the moon and everything affecting our tides and everything. So like, there is a huge pull to energy that people need to stop thinking, oh well, there's only God and Jesus and Christ and fucking this, Allah and all this shit. No. There is energy, and energy is the one thing we know for sure is factual, and it's just we have been convinced otherwise because people would lose, like governments, the church would lose their control if we realize that the very energy that we're searching for and
they do
seeking,
see
and the manifestation through intent, which is a prayer is an intent. No matter who you are, if you pray, you're going to put that intent out there, and sometimes it's enough to actually make it come to fruition. So
and
I think people need to start realizing that energy is biggest factor here.
I mean, it's scientifically proven to exist, and we're proven to be a part of it, and we're matter, we're energy, like down to the science of our bones. We are part of it, and there's no getting around it. But we don't have the mental capacity to harness any of this. We can't control any of it. I can't move it around my body, as far as I know. But when you do Reiki, what was interesting was the movement of energy has been around for hundreds of years, like Tai Chi, things like that, like moving your chi around. Like it's been called something different in every culture, but people have always recognized it. It's some level of the term. And you could be laying on a bed face down, not know where the person is in the room, or even if they're in the room with you, but you can feel where they're moving their hands without them touching you, being 2 inches off your body. And not because you feel the wind as they're moving. They could be going this slow, but they're there. You
feel like a magnetism between it, like an energy between the hand. And yes, exactly.
And when you get attuned to it, the reason there's training and attunements to it is you get code words or certain things that help you as a person trigger your energy movement. So I have certain things that I have to repeat in my head over and over that actually make my hands warm up. So I have gotten to a point where I've meditated and I've gotten to a level where I can say these, and they're just for me, but I can say these code words or these terms in my head over and over, and I will actually feel my palms sweating and my hands start heating up, and I can feel tingliness in my, in my fingers. And that's when I've put my hands near someone or on someone and they're like, holy fuck, like your hand is heating up like an oven right now. Like it's almost hot for me to be there. And that's the transfer of energy essentially. And that's what happens with friction and actual energy transfer in real life. What happens, shit gets hot. So like same thing happens to people, but I'm able to do that. And I've always been able to do that since I've gone through the motions of and I say Reiki training is not so much a physical training. I think it's an awakening or an opening up of a consciousness, a level of consciousness that lets you actually know that this thing's possible. And the more you believe it, the more you're able to do it because your body recognizes it as a physical feature.
I do. Yeah, I think people have to be open to it as well.
Mhm.
But something that Saint just said that I'm going to circle back around on
That's
is,
fine.
so we're talking about energy and we can feel that. We're going to circle it back to the aliens now.
Yep.
So Saint just made a good point. You can feel when someone's eyes are on you. You know when
Isn't that
someone you're
weird?
being watched. You always feel that. So now think about it. If you are an advanced life form and you have that sense of energy, perhaps that is why they know when they're being observed.
What if they can see it?
What if they can sense it to the point where they're like, we're being watched?
Mm-hmm.
Cosmo and his sister are observing us. Do the
Mhm.
flashy.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Freeze them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think that's true. And
Yeah.
where did all this conversation about auras and stuff come up and people having colors around them and things? Because some people can see that kind of stuff. I, for one, when I'm in the dark with other people in a room, I can see colors around people. I know where someone is, almost like they're outlined with a colored pencil. And it's not bright. It's just, if I pay attention enough, it's there. And I'll know where you are in a dark room. It is what it is. And I just thought it was natural and everyone could do it. So this is real. And if us here, not knowing shit, being blind to everything, and basically probably had our memory wiped thousands of years ago, are picking up on these little talents that we have as a species and able to address them now and pay attention because everyone's starting to open up a little bit more about their things that they can do. What is the capability of, let's say, a human in space who has been observing us, who's known of all these abilities and honed them and been able to train and be perfect at this, able to do? If we're just babies at this shit, imagine something for thousands of years who has just like been brought up through schooling and training to be able to do shit. You know what I mean? Like, imagine.
Yeah.
We have to funnel around in the dark and figure this shit out on our own. But what if for like 100 years you were just trained in this? Like, you're mastering it. Like, you definitely would know when someone's watching you, or you could see shit, or like, you know, whatever. Imagine. That's cool.
There are ancient spiritual groups of people.
Mhm.
I think they're called, there's the Thetans, there's a few others, where they do harbor this spirituality, and they do have this
10%
memories,
of our
because I know
brain.
Saint just said due to how long we've been here, the information would have been lost to time anyway. But there are groups of people
True.
who are now considered, you know, hoaxy people, like it's all mumbo jumbo, blah blah blah, and it's been discredited. But they have texts from like centuries and centuries ago of other times when, like, lost documents and things that they've kept sound. Well, it's not lost anymore, but that they've kept sound because it's evidence to what they believe and what people inherently feel. So
Yeah, exactly. It's all documented, and people were always doing this kind of stuff. And from Native Americans all the way down to the Mayans, like they were saying, like, all these people have all documented space things and flying things and spiritual things and technology they don't understand and all this stuff. And it's like, how can you have so many what you would call primitive people on all these continents across the world who don't have the internet, who don't have phones, who are never going to meet each other? They're never going to cross the ocean or travel. They're not going to do any of that. They are fine where they are with their resources. They're just trying to survive, and they're all drawing the same pictures. They're all writing down the same stuff. They're all picturing it the same. They're all making pyramids. They're all fucking doing this and stacking stones, and they all have the same sky god thing that's happening, or a star
same
god,
accounts
or
of the experiences that they've had.
same experience of something coming down and visiting and wanting it to come back. None of them were like, I don't want it to come back. They all want whatever this thing is to come back. Whatever it was a good experience for them. You know, whatever
And never
it was.
hostile. For
never
the most part,
hostile.
these people have never had hostility, apart
Never.
from one video I'm going to show later on. But that was because of the aggression from the Soviet themselves.
Giving them something.
I
giving
have to
them
go.
tools.
You keep talking. I'm yapping. I gotta go empty my bladder.
That's
So I'll
fine.
be
When
right
you come back, I'll do the same thing. But like, guys, just giving you like a lowdown with that. It's one of those things where like you have to pay attention to it, right? You have to think about it. It's not something that, and even if you don't believe in stuff, it's interesting, right? It's interesting to talk about. It's interesting to listen to these stories and have these conversations because no, it's not just me and Kat doing it. And that's the point of this little podcast we started. It's to really dig deep into the conversations that everyone has in their heads, but doesn't want to say out loud or doesn't have the person or the outlet out there to speak their mind. And maybe you live somewhere where this is crazy and you'll be put in a cage if you try to speak this way. But here we are on the internet and this is where we are. But yeah, I am a firm believer in this. And I do like where we're going with this. I do like how we're tying in science as well as religion, because when you think about it, they both go hand in hand when you start talking about something in the sky, something else that's not human, something that created us, something that watches us or controls us, something we need to pray to or always be on good terms with, because the alternative kind of sucks. Being powerless to something who's more powerful than you, being consistently monitored or experimented on or changed. It doesn't matter if you're talking about God or a prophet or if you're talking about an alien or science. It all comes back to something we don't understand and something that's more than us. And again, is it our brains trying to figure out a way to make us feel better about the fact that we mostly die after 60, 70 years and that's kind of scary and we become dirt? Or is it our brains coming to terms with the fact that this is real and maybe we're remembering things or slowly getting information that tells us where we actually came from and where we belong? Because again, keep in mind, we weren't here forever. We weren't always here, but scientists say that we evolved, right? But they weren't always here. And people will say that we were put here because of religious reasons, but we weren't always here. So, and the people saying that are also humans who are here now. And the people who are scientists saying that we evolved are also humans who are here now and on Earth. So who's actually telling the truth? And does anyone actually know anything when you think about it? Because you're listening to, hello. I was getting into a little point where I was saying no matter what you believe, just kind of capping off what we've been talking about so far before we get like super alien again, what you believe, why do you believe it? And it's like religion, you're told by religious people, and by science, you're told by scientists or people with science, but they're all living with you right now on this same dirt planet. And they're all just going off of facts that they have from years of whatever that they've been told on two different sides of the planet, but they're still humans and they're still the humans that are here now. So I don't know if you had your headphones on when you left, but I said religious people think things came down from the sky, whether it's God or whatever, and put them here. And scientists think that an asteroid or something came down from the sky and gave the aminos and everything for life and created us here. Everything comes from the sky in both senses. Everything comes from somewhere else. And everyone believes in something that is greater than them, that controls them, that we need to stay on good terms with, because if we're not on good terms with it, we're fucked. Whether that's God or that's something out in the universe, but everyone has this overwhelming feeling of being watched by something that is stronger and bigger and more important than them and can stop them and end them at any given time if they deviate from their, prayers or from their path of knowledge or what. It's like, it's crazy, but like we all have the same feeling.
To add to that, a lot of the species that are here on the planet is theorized to have come from, not even theorized, but proven to have come now from space, from meteors landing on us, from other distant planets and things like that. Because I know that when there was a number of years ago now, there was a meteor that landed in Hawaii, and when they took a core sample of it, so not something that's on the surface of it, but an actual core sample of it, they found evidence of cannabis strains within the core of wherever that meteor came from, giving the proof that a lot of the species here on the planet, the plants and things like that, are actually introduced due to meteors, asteroids, things that came from other planets and is now here. So I don't know who we have to thank for cannabis, but hats off to you.
That is so crazy, but also cool at the same time. Like it came, it's wild that all the little building blocks, because Earth was created at some point. That's the high life. Yeah, right. Also, my kick just like basically 404'd, so I don't know what's happening, but whatever.
Yeah, I noticed a drop here too, so.
I can't like open anything, not even like the homepage of it or whatever, and I'm afraid to like refresh my screen because I feel like it's just gonna.
Yeah, I don't want to refresh.
It's like
Are you guys
hardcore
still
in and out.
seeing me? Are you still seeing Cosmo?
Yeah, Z, are we still existing? I'm on like a super high load bar right now, so I'm just trying to see if like.
Are we here?
I'm still here. I'm still existing to you on the planet Earth.
Okay,
Still here?
I
Okay, cool.
Responded, so okay, yeah.
Yeah, Z said the same thing. Okay, sweet. Yeah, because I've seen a fluctuation on my
There was
thing,
definitely
and
a dip there in even numbers watching.
yeah,
Thanks, E.
that got weird. Okay, cool. Thank you, but that's fine. So I don't know where we want to go next with this one. I have 2 more personal stories and also a bunch of like things that I do want to like read, and that can get us into some more conversations as I just flashbanged myself. That's fun. But I need to pee, so I'll be right back. I need to go to party.
Sounds good.
And I think my food's here too. I might have some chicken tenders I can munch on while we're talking. Yes.
Is that from McDonald's?
Not McDonald's, no, local place. Hell
Well,
no.
I have a muffin, so I'm just gonna eat my muffin and talk to chat for a while. But yeah, guys, we have some really interesting stuff. So one of my favorite investigators into this, and probably one of the most trusted, is James Fox. James Fox has been investigating for decades, literally decades, far before Cosmo and I were. But essentially, he has a documentary out. He started out with furthermore at 1 a.m. Damn it. Okay, have a good night, Saint. Thanks for being here and contributing. Appreciate you. And we have to get some Gladius together sometime, for sure. I am Canadian as well. Let me see here. So one of the documentaries that I watched with James Fox is Moment of Contact, but there is a newer release of his documentary, an updated one, called Moment of Contact: New Revelations of Alien Encounters. So this follows basically the crash in, I'll probably pronounce it wrong, but Varginha, Brazil, or Varginha, Brazil, and they have one of the most covered up UFO incidents, or at least it was, in 1996. And there's videos of an interview with him with Joe Rogan that I will show. Whatever your thoughts of Joe Rogan is, I'm more so interested in what James Fox had to say. And then also there's a video that he has with the neurosurgeon who treated one of these unknown beings. Because, I mean, he doesn't want to say alien because he never got to actually see it, but there's a lot of accounts of that. And then I also have a clip here from the documentary as well that you'll have to watch my screen for, because I actually had to rent the video to play it. So you guys will have to switch off of Cosmos to come to mine to be able to actually watch it, and it's pretty interesting. There's about at least 5 minutes of it that I'll play from the doctor who treated one of the aliens and saw the aliens. But apparently everybody in that village got a big, like, a lot of hush hush, a lot of threats, a lot of money thrown their way to be like, shut the fuck up, don't say anything, essentially. So yeah, muffin. And guys, if you've had any encounters with aliens, please let us know. Talk about it with us. This is a safe space. And I made banana chocolate chip muffins. And they're gluten-free and they're delicious. But Cosmo will be back soon.
You're not coming in for
there he
tendies. Stay out with mama.
He's got his tendies.
No tendies for puppies right now. You're still.
Oh,
Zisa,
not today.
All right, let me get my conspiracy dinner out here. I'm chicken tender.
I've got my
but
muffin.
I'm really excited to see
I'm
that.
a muff diver.
A muff diver, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I think Kick's definitely having issues tonight. So all I care about is that the VOD stays, and I'm able to get it later, so I can pop it up on YouTube for everybody. But okay, that being said, you said that you were going into, I kind of had my headset on, but I just didn't want to deviate from what you were doing. So you talked about having the, like the 5-minute video and stuff that you were going to show, or you wanted to show.
But we can talk about your personal experiences first if you'd like, and then we can get into that.
Okay, that's fine. Because I'm going to nibble when we do that.
So I want to hear your stories too.
Yeah, so my second one, which really kind of messed me up for a while. My second one has to do with when we lived kind of out in the woods with my mom, and
Into the thick of it.
I moved home after college because I couldn't really afford to live on my own. I had just broken up with my ex, and I was kind of at a point in my life where I just needed to save money, go to work. So my mom said, I can move home. So I did. So where we lived was really out in like a woodsy area. It wasn't like, we had neighbors next door. It was a normal like neighborhood kind of situation, but we were in a place where it was very woodsy behind us. So usually doesn't mean much, except for the fact that like things can come and go as they please and you wouldn't even know. So what happened to me was, there was one night, I don't remember what year it was. I don't remember how old I was. I don't remember any of that shit. But there was one night that I went to bed. And when I went to bed in this room, and I have to give all these little buildups because I tried to debunk this as much as I could. My brain did not want to believe this. It didn't want to know that any of this was real. So I had a small, maybe 10 by 10 room. It's not that big. I had my bed in the corner. It was a small enough room that you had to kitty corner your bed, where the back of the bed was against one wall, then the side of the bed was against the other wall, and the only way onto the bed was kicking your feet off the left, because I had a tall mini fridge at the end, a stand-up AC unit next to the mini fridge that piped out the window. So the window always had something in it, so you couldn't just climb through the window and get away with it. It had a whole ass thing in it. My desk along the back wall, and my TV mounted up on the wall, and I would just sit in my chair and play Xbox with my computer in front of it. Like I had a laptop and whatever, and my TV up there.
Like so the old school setups.
Yeah, old school setup. So, and the left of the room was like a dresser and whatever. There was nowhere to stand. There was nothing. You couldn't like do anything in there. So, again, sensing somebody's watching you. When I turned on, because it was hot, it was like spring or summer or whatever. When I turned on the AC, and I'm going to talk while I take insulin. When I turned on the AC, it had a big blue LED light on the front. And when your room was dark enough, that big LED blue light would actually illuminate the entire room in that blue glow. So I could see the whole room still at night, but it was calm enough. What's up, Wolf? It was calm enough that, it wouldn't wake you up because of the light. So,
right.
Sorry, I'm listening to hear if my pod's clicking. So what happened was I woke up at, I think it was around 1 o'clock in the morning, my mom said, because she rushed in my room. I woke up at probably 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm eating a candy. Because who knows, right? I don't know why I woke up. I just did. I'd have a noisemaker playing. I'd have white noise. I didn't want to hear anything. Nothing would wake me up. I was in my little bubble. I woke up and I immediately, because I don't have contacts or glasses in, but this room is small enough that my vision is still pretty clear 10 feet away. It has to go a little further. I woke up and immediately, tiny room, looked directly, like if I'm laying here, I just look to where my desk is, because my room's like this. It's like a tunnel. I can only see that when I wake up because my bed faces that. I don't sleep that way. I sleep facing the door. It's a safety thing with me. So my door is always closed. I woke up to 2 3-foot tall son of a bitches standing in front of my desk. The height of the air conditioner, illuminated by the blue light of the air conditioner, gray with big black eyes. This is where I started believing in the grays. This is where my mindset said, shit, this is a real thing. I woke up and saw them at the end of the bed. Now, this wasn't a calm waking up like, wow, am I really seeing what I'm seeing? My entire existence shit itself to the point where I shot straight up into my bed and slammed my head against the wall behind me. So hard and loud because I was terrified of what I was seeing. Like as if someone broke into your house and they were stealing your shit, like stealing my computer, and I woke up and caught them. Fight or flight was like flight, not fight. It was flight. Sat straight up, slammed my head into the wall to the point where it woke my mom up in the other bedroom because it was so fucking loud because I slammed into the wall. The 2 things in front of me, casually, calmly, as if I wasn't going to scare them, walked slowly backwards. Now, at the same time, and there was 2 of them, and I know they're about 3 feet tall because I literally measured my air conditioner after because I was like, that was my reference point, and it was 3 feet tall. Casually walked backwards. Now you'd think, where the fuck they gonna go? It's my desk, right? It's a wall, it's a desk. They're not leaving out the room. They're not going out the window. The window still is the AC unit. I remember, I will never forget this. They stepped backwards and the back wall where the desk was rotated like this. Like kind of like everything, like I was drunk and the room spun, but it was just the one area where they were. And it was the same colors. It was the desk. It was everything. It was just like the whole visual of it just kind of mushed. And they just walked into it like it was water. Like they walked into a puddle. And then it was normal. And then it just kind of was normal. And they were gone. And that, and when they were
almost like that, they altered the like the Pauli principle where like, you know, atoms are tightly together and stuff and whatnot. Like
they turned
that.
the water and went through it. But my mom's room was on the other side, so it's not like they walked into her room, right? And they just went somewhere that wasn't here. And what happened with that was the second it twisted back and they were gone, that's when she kicked in the door and said, "Are you okay? I heard a bang." Their timing was so phenomenal. So phenomenal that like it was amazing.
Did you smell anything? Like, did any smells off or anything like that?
Nothing. It's like they were never there. Like they didn't even exist. But what I heard was sort of a whooshing sound and a light go by the window after they left. I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that. It was like they went out somewhere up and gone. But we had trains that went by, so I don't know.
And
never forget them.
To play devil's advocate here a little bit.
Please do, because I want this to not have been a thing. Because the gray thing was enough.
Yes. So you saw all of that. Were you diabetic at the time? Do you think it might have been like a diabetic episode where your blood sugar was too high or low, and you started to visualize things and to maybe like see things that weren't there? I
wish. No, I was fine. No, I was fine. That's the thing. My sugar, I've never actually hallucinated.
I have to ask for
of course. I've never hallucinated.
For anybody wondering, being like, oh, there could be any reason, blah, 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 blah. So that's why I asked, as if,
No, I've been like I've had a sugar level in the 30s where I was literally going blind and I still didn't hallucinate.
There you go. Okay.
I've been 500-600. Sick to my stomach, could barely open my eyes because it was flushed with proteins and it was blurry. Still didn't see that twisty thing. It was like right out of a movie.
And you hadn't done shrooms or any drugs prior?
I'm the most straight edge sober
doing,
person on the planet. I don't
you're
smoke
just doing
weed.
CP seats, and then they came to visit and play a little Fortnite or
Mhm,
World of Warcraft while you were sleeping.
They said 1v1 me, bro. No, it was
they needed 3 of them to stack up to be one person.
At the time, like I didn't even drink. I didn't like alcohol because it fucks with my diabetes. I didn't like
Right. Yep.
I never smoked or did any kind of drugs. I don't smoke weed. I don't do vapes. I pretty much quit smoking cigarettes. Like literally, I was as stable as a human being can get. I wasn't even on like anxiety meds yet. I wasn't nothing. I didn't need anything. Blood pressure, everything was fine. Blood work was always great. What? Again, I've always had an open relationship with my mom because she believes in a lot of stuff. And that's the first thing I told her. I wasn't even afraid. I was sitting up in bed, holding my heart, hyperventilating when she came in the room. And I looked right at her and I said, they were fucking here. Those little bitches. They're here. Right there. 3 foot
They're
tall.
children.
Right there.
Because most people say they're a little bit taller, you know, like they're a little bit like around like 5, 6
These were
feet.
little dudes. These were like
and
scouts.
They were little. It's like
these were like scouts.
It was like their kids like ran off with their fucking.
I swear to God, if they were like kids that ran off with the car, they took the car and they were like, let's go see those humans. Let's go see that human that our parents have been watching for 40 years, you know, for 20 years. Let's go check. Let's go see that human, that pet that they have. Fucking walked in my room. Oh shit, he's awake, man. Let's get out of here. You have not seen us. We do not exist. This is a dream. As they walk backwards into a fucking.
It's funny that you had the interaction with, you know, the triangle in the sky and the green lights and stuff like that, because the one I've had a few, but the one memory that I have of seeing a UFO, me and my cousin, I was always a weird kid. I always wanted to be looking up at the stars and I always wanted to be on the roof looking at the stars at night, you know, and sometimes I would get that indulgence, but I was visiting my cousin, and this was in Newfoundland, and I was visiting my cousin and I was just like, do you want to go up on the roof and just like watch the stars? Because I loved constellations and stuff even then. And she was just like, yeah, let's do it. And she asked, you know, my uncle, like, hey, can we get on the roof and look at the stars? He said, fine, but if you fall off, I'm not taking you to the hospital. Thing. And we were like, it's fine, we won't fall off. So we got up on the roof. It was only like a bungalow anyway. We got up on the roof and we were just looking and watching, and we saw like shooting stars and the typical stuff. And it's like, oh, there's the Big Dipper and everything. And we had both been in Girl Guides, so like I think some of us were still going for our constellation badge and everything. So we were like looking at the stars, mapping them and whatnot. And then we saw this one that was like, we knew it was a satellite, but then there was another one next to it that was, as you said, green, like this green color. Not super, super bright, but a green in color. And we're like, oh, that's weird.
You don't forget the shade of green either.
Yeah, like it's a strange green to describe. And then we saw it just like kind of hover, not close to us or anything. It was very still far off in the distance. But then it landed, but not like a meteor, you know, because when you see meteor showers and such, if they were to land that close to you, they break the sound barrier and they actually make like almost like a firework sound. And then they flash really bright.
They shatter glass in the area and like set off car alarms and shit.
Yeah. So like, and even if they're far off, you hear like a firework and a flash and then it's gone. I've seen it lots of times before during meteor showers, but this was different. This was just a green controlled light that was hovering and just moving. And the way that it was moving was like across the, there was like a huge woods behind her, just went back for like miles
Mhm.
and just like these hills, and we saw it land behind there. And we were like, oh, that was weird. And then we saw another one do the exact same thing and
Mhm.
just kind of land down behind the hill. And then a third one, but this one was a little bit closer, not really close, but a little bit closer, and then went down behind the hill. And I remember looking at her and being like, that was pretty close. I was like, that's probably over near where the lake is, because there's a lake there. I was like, that's probably just over by where the lake is. And she was just like, do you think that they could come here? And I was just like, I don't know. And we are like 13, so of course then our imaginations got the better of us and we got scared and we are like, we should probably like go inside. Like more so she was scared. I kind
The
of
fact
wanted to
that she
sit and
said, "Do you
wait.
think they could come here?" She's already believing
Yes.
something.
She's already knowing that it was something else. Me,
Mhm.
I wanted to sit out. I was like, we should stay here and just wait and see if anything comes out of the woods. And she's just like, do you think that they could? And I was just like, maybe. And then we both went into the house because she started crying. And then she told
Mhm.
my uncle, and my uncle got mad at me and said like, you
Why'd you
know,
provoke
stop
her?
putting these crazy fucking ideas in her head and shit like this. Like she's gonna be up all night now, fucking scared. She'll be in our bed pissing it and everything, blah blah blah. Like,
You're like,
you
but
know,
she
because
saw it
like,
too. What the fuck?
and it's just like, but we both saw the same thing, like, you know.
Mhm.
But of course, I got in trouble because, like, you know, how dare you like believe in something like that and whatever. And
Yeah,
they're
of
super
course.
religious as well. But we were like, we saw it, we saw it, we saw it, but we just got in trouble and sent to the room. Um, but probably
That's when you should have said, "I think we saw an
I
angel."
I think maybe like a year later or so, I had this wildly vivid dream.
Mm-hmm.
Out of nowhere. It was in the middle of summer. Um, and I know I was on summer break because I just remember looking out
The
the
hell are you
window and
eating,
it
bro?
was it
What's up,
was
Ash?
distinctly summer. And then but like probably a year after, I had this dream that I was abducted by aliens. And I know that sounds weird already, but I had this dream that I was abducted by aliens. My chest felt tight and pulled, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I had like this feeling of um almost like it would be a panic attack, but my heart was just racing really, 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 really fast. And it's like they were trying to calm me down. So one
Mm-hmm.
of them reached out and put their hand on me, and I could still remember the hand on me.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt faint and I felt dizzy and everything like that. And then it went on for some time, and then I remember just going black, like black, and then like waking up much later, remembering that dream. Like I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
dreaming anymore, and then I woke up and I was remembering that dream. I woke up, I was like I said 13, 14 at the time. So I slept in pajamas and everything at that age. I woke up
Now she
completely
sleeps
naked.
naked.
Now I sleep naked. But at the time I woke up, I was completely naked. I was completely sweaty and my heart was racing out of my chest.
Mm-hmm.
And I woke up scared, and even I remember like swiping away because I thought that they might still be there, and woke up like completely naked, completely sweaty. My pajamas were at the end of my bed, and I
Mm-hmm.
woke up and I remember looking out the window like, where'd they go? Like I was just convinced that like it was real.
Let me guess, if
But
you tell your parents, they'd say you just kicked off your clothes when you were asleep because you were hot.
probably.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a very sound sleeper. I don't do stuff like that. Like if I'm
Mm-hmm.
out, I'm out. I'm not moving. Like I'll wake up with a line across my face because I won't move the entire night, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when I was a kid, because I had chronic bronchitis, so I slept very soundly.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was a shallow breather. But I remember waking up and knowing all. I never told any. I don't think I've told anybody this story. Actually, this is the first time that I think I've actually said it
I
out
didn't talk
loud
about any
because
of
it's
this until
just.
I started doing this.
Yeah, but this is the very first time that I've told anybody that story,
Mm-hmm.
because who would believe that shit, you know? But it's always stuck with me as a memory of like, I don't get this, but I can still feel it, sort of thing. And
Mm-hmm.
it's very well could have been a dream. I'm as skeptical as everybody else, but it's just very bizarre that I woke up naked, completely sweaty, with the same feeling in my chest. It's like I couldn't, like I might have gotten scared wherever I was.
I go up 6
And they were
viewers when
trying to
Kat
calm me
says she's
down, and
naked.
they're
You
like,
guys need to calm down.
but like, you know, that they were trying to do something with me or whatever, and I was like too scared, so they had to bring me back because maybe I would have had a heart attack or anything. I mean, my heart was racing for a 14-year-old and
Mhm.
somebody who had never had a panic attack or anything at that point in my life. And there was no reason for me to, because I remember that summer was a really fun summer from what I recall. And you know, it's just one of those things that
So
makes you think.
what I really like about your story is, and why I think certain people are drawn to people, and it's again, these conversations we have tie in full they come full circle every time. And our conversations about how, you know, the Pleiades and we feel different and we live on a different wavelength and all this other stuff, there's a reason why they would like check in on you, you know what I mean? Or like they would want to like be around you, or maybe like the whole point is people get abducted or have these moments, and someone like you and me are more quiet about it. We're very calm and relaxed. Maybe we have more understanding family members, or maybe we just come to terms with it a little bit more because we're more excited that it's a possible realization that something else is out there or whatever. Like we're more interested in it. And then you have people that go on TV and they're like, I was abducted. Holy shit. Maybe they're like us, but they're just fucking talking about it. And they don't want to, they don't have an upbringing that's more comfortable with spirituality and things like that. So they're just more scared, you know, that some crazy shit happened and they need people to know about it. But
100%.
coming back down to what you said, sorry, go ahead.
No, and the feeling of like, you know, even as a kid, just feeling like maybe you were adopted or something because you just don't feel like this is where you're meant to be.
Yeah. You have a weird feeling where you can't actually sit still. You can't comfortably come to terms with the fact that this is your life or this is where you are. Like I said, you don't get good at something. You don't get amazing at something. You just get good at a bunch of random little shit. You get really good at everything. You don't actually master anything.
And the thirst for knowledge, like I feel like I'm reporting stuff back. Like I always want to know more and more and more because I feel like
I love that.
I'm meant to report back, you know?
I'm constantly, so that's like funny to say. I left my career in retail, not because I didn't, trust me, nobody wants to be in retail. Everyone fucking hates it. But I thought I was getting dumb. I thought I wasn't doing my job. I wasn't getting smart enough. So I went back to school, almost like I was told to. I literally got like basically a 4.0 on a master's degree, and I barely had to try because my brain just knew all the answers. Like I knew everything. And then I started getting smart again. And I felt like I was doing something right. Constantly wanting to grow my knowledge in my brain. That was just funny. That just triggered me with that. But yeah, your story hits home because I've had plenty of dreams, and I don't remember a lot of my dreams, right? But there's two things that happen to me quite often. I've heard over the years that one, I never knew people existed that don't dream or don't think they have dreams or don't remember them to the point where they don't think they dream. They think they just sleep, wake up, and have coffee. And two, I never knew until like 2 years ago that people don't have inner monologues. They can't hear a voice. They can't talk to themselves in their head. They can't visualize things. They can't make up entire movies in their brain and play it back to themselves in their brain and see these things. Like I never knew that wasn't a thing. I thought everyone could do this. I thought this was common human knowledge that you could like sit, like I could go quiet right now and I'm talking to myself, but it's in here. I can hear the voice, but nobody else can. But some people don't have that. And
yeah, some people don't have the inner monologue, which I find really bizarre.
They don't have the inner monologue, or I can sit there and I can think of something like an imagination, and I can be like, okay, what if Godzilla ran through this thing and an alien came down and he breathed fire and he did this and some guy kicked him in the face, and I can see all of these characters playing. Like if I read a book and I don't have a reference to like a movie or something, it's just a book that exists. I can picture. My brain makes a visualization of the characters and the things happening. Like I had the full Harry Potter series, their voices, accents.
Yeah,
you can hear it all. I had the full Harry Potter series playing in my brain when the movies came out. I was actually upset because now my brain could reference
it's different.
that.
Yes.
It's different. And now I can't remember what I had anymore. I can only see that now, and I hate it because mine was better.
That's how I felt with Game of Thrones as well when they cast some of the people, and I'm like, this is not what it was like in the book.
No, your brain has a different thing.
Yeah.
Ash says, I remember most of mine. I also hear things in my head and see things in my brain. I can paint a whole picture in my mind. People with ADHD tend to have this thing or an ability. I didn't realize not anyone else had that. When I go to sleep at night, when I'm laying in bed, when I say I can't fall asleep because I can't get these fucking images out of my brain, it's because I'm literally playing movies. I close my eyes and it's like a drive-through movie.
That's completely different. Hearing voices is like a personality disorder and schizophrenic at times, but it's very different from that. It's literally
peaceful.
Just being able to have full-on conversations in your head, and finding different scenarios of things. Because I know as an overthinker myself, that's one of the things that I do is how can this conversation go if I have it, the good, the bad, the ugly, So
I can do that ahead of time and sort of predict what's going to happen because I've seen it 4 times already.
Yes. So that you can effectively communicate better when you have the conversation, because it's like, okay, well, if they say this, then I can have this. I will communicate it like that. And if they say this, then I can communicate it like that.
So, Ash, the voice, yes, the voice in your head is your voice. But your vocal cords aren't making it. It's your brain recognizing what you sound like and playing it back to you and allowing you to utilize it inside of you to talk to you about things, which is crazy to think about. But then when you have these moments, though, can you also put other voices or make up sounds or other voices in your head for other people if you're playing a scene in your brain? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You can, what if you think somebody has an accent, right? And you know what that accent sounds like. You might give that person that accent in your mind, but they don't actually exist. Yeah, my life forever. Exactly. So, Ash, we've never talked about this, but I do that too. And Kat has it. But I thought everyone had it until...
when I'm thinking of talking to you, when I think about talking to you, I think about you talking to me back in your voice.
And I hear yours.
Yeah.
And I hear Ash's mic peak, so I don't actually get to hear half of her conversation because she's usually screaming, but...
Valid.
Yeah, exactly. I'm waiting for her to yell at me.
How dare you throw off my ADHD?
Or go to your page and just be like, fuck him, I'm over here now. But yeah. So circling back, I've had dreams where I was paralyzed. And it wasn't
sleep paralysis.
Sleep paralysis, because I wasn't in my room. I don't remember it as vividly as you do, but I remember that warm touch to calm you down. And I don't remember the feeling of the touch. I just remember it being warm. And I associated that with the Reiki thing, with the energy movement. And a higher vibrational being, essentially, is what I was told it was when I brought this up to people who essentially were comfortable having these conversations, that they can move energy and things like that. And that's why they can cure diseases or things like that, because they just move the shit around in you. Because what's a disease? It's a malformity of your body or cells doing things they're not supposed to, or a growth somewhere, and they can just make your body remove that. Because our bodies are constantly in motion all the time. Everything inside of us is doing shit all the time. So imagine if you
all the time
could think inside of you and say, hey, that thing that's bad, all you little cells, can you get around it, pick it up, and just get it out? Because I have enough holes on my body. You can, pick one, put it out my ear, put it out my butt. I don't fucking care where it goes. Get the fuck out of me. You know what I'm saying? Just get it out.
My friend's mother actually, she was a very hippy dippy person in Australia. She was a part of he called it a cult. It was probably a cult, but they did a lot of mindfulness healing. And when she was diagnosed with, I think it was stomach cancer, she literally told them, she was like, no, I don't. And she started it from that moment. She's just like, no, I don't. And then I think it was a year later, she went back for testing and her cancer was just gone because she just refused to allow her body to accept that she has cancer.
Mm-hmm. It's very interesting how It's basically, I know we're getting off the alien topic, but we're still in humans being weird.
We're still in humans being weird.
But basically, there's a lot of theories out there where when people give in, like they have a lot of people who have cancer. And Ash, I'll read what you said in a second. A lot of people that have cancer that survive it, and there is people who have had stage 4 cancer and somehow come back from it. And a lot of it, they said they were very happy-go-lucky, optimistic. I'm fine. I'm going to get over it. Don't you worry. And, you know, no matter how bad it got, they were like, never succumbed to it mentally. They were always just like, we're good, bro. Like, give me another, I'm out. I'm good. This is never going to happen. I'm fine. I love life. I'm going to be here, you know, to see your birthday and all that stuff. And they beat it. Mm-hmm. They were on medication and stuff, but like they beat it. And then there's the people who they put them in a hospital bed. They do all these tests. They leave them in the bed for 6 months. It's depressing. It's sad. They succumb to the mindset of, I'm just going to die. You know, just get this shit over with. Just get it over with. I'm in so much pain. Let's get this done. Blah, blah, blah. And they die.
Yeah.
Not saying that's every case. I'm just saying.
Definitely not every case, but
this is documented that like
people's minds,
the mindset,
they already get defeated because they're like, oh my God, this is going to be so hard and I'm probably going to die. And it's just like, as soon as you think that, your body starts to spiral. Whereas like I do it when I'm getting sick as well, to the best degree as I can, where I'm just like, nope, not getting a flu. And chances are I might have symptoms, but I'm not going to get as full-fledged as other people because I'm like, nope, I refuse to be sick. I'm too busy. Got too much to do, you know? You're so close. Your microphone's going up your nose.
She knows what she did. She knows what she did. I had a little bloop bloop come across my screen, and it said, Ash sent you an Instagram reel. That's why she's over there. Like, no, it's fine. I just thought it was funny because I looked down and I was like, you son of a bitch.
I was like, what's going on? I don't know.
But yeah, so I've had not as vivid. You will take the cake on that one because you remember more than I obviously do. But when it comes to the dream situation, I have had very similar dreams of just disappearing. But mine weren't, my most memorable dreams were not the being taken dreams. It was the astral projection dreams where my soul, as we call it, was not in here. And I could physically see things happening out in the world. I would go to the other side of the planet, like on vacation. What's up, Sierra? On the other side of the fucking world. And then come back. And I would just think it was a dream, right? Until the shit your pants part happened when you re-enter your body. And I don't understand, because this happened a few times when I was younger.
And you realize that you weren't walking around, that it was something else.
No. Right, Sierra? They are. I don't understand why, as somebody who has astral projected, I'm going to say it's happened because it happened. Why do you have to re-enter your body at Mach fucking 10 coming down from the clouds? Why can't you comfortably, quietly, gently float down and quietly go back into your body? Why do you have to re-enter at the speed of light? Is that the only way to get back in? Because
maybe
all I
there's
remember...
a pull. Maybe it's
God.
like, it has to do with the gravity and stuff.
Maybe.
Within our bodies.
Because like, fuck, dude, all I have from these dreams is, and the same thing you went through, I would be, all of a sudden I'd be back over my house and I would see I don't know what the roof of my house looks like, but I'd see the roof of it. So now I do. And then it's just like, it goes from this to like, well, here the fuck we go again. Whoosh! And you hit your body so hard, they just cut the brakes. Seriously. And I remember hitting my body so hard that when I was in my body again, I woke up out of the sleep and I wasn't on my bed. I was 2 feet above my bed because I had hit so hard, my body bounced and I was 2 feet off my bed and then I'd hit my bed again and roll off onto the floor. I'll never forget this. I've talked about this before with people. You don't wake up out of a dream and you're just 2 feet above yourself. Like, I hit myself hard enough to go and then off the bed. It's fine. And same to your point, I was pouring fucking sweat. You'd think I had 104 fever and I just broke a fever. I was pouring fucking sweat. Like my ass had been running a marathon all night.
Yeah, you wake up like, I mean slick with sweat. Like, and I'm not a sweater. I want everybody like, and I don't mean like a jumper. I mean I'm not somebody who does a lot of sweating. Even when I'm working out, when I'm at the gym, I will sweat, but not to the degree that some people will. But I woke up and I was like, my hair was wet. I was soaking. There was drips coming down like my body, and I'm just like, what's wrong with me? Like it was almost like I had taken a shower, but it was all sweat.
I've had these spiritual experiences that made me feel like I was a little less human that day.
Yes.
Let's put it that way. And people were paying attention to me. So is astral projecting me actually leaving my body, or is it them taking me out for something, for maintenance or something? You know what I mean? It's interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's a weird understanding of it. I don't think other people will get it unless they've actually experienced it, because it does sound crazy, and I don't blame people for thinking that it's crazy any more than I think like when people say, "Oh, well, I saw a ghost." It's like, you probably did. I mean, who's to say that you didn't,
Mm-hmm.
Or that your dog didn't, or your, whatever. Like, there's a lot of, it's very easy to be nonchalant and just say like, oh, well, that couldn't have happened because that's stupid,
I always tell people, I don't care what you believe, just be open-minded because it's cool.
Yeah.
If this stuff turns out to be real for you, it's not scary. You got to be excited that something outside your boring ass life exists. That's actually kind of fun.
That there might be actually more to it, and it's not fluffy clouds and us walking around with fucking, God, a face.
I'm sorry, but I don't want to go behind some gate up somewhere and fucking just, now what? Oh, this sucks. Like, I would prefer if there was a hell.
Why is there a gate, might I add?
It's a gated community for white people. That's all it is. And I don't want to live there because it's probably got an HOA, and it's probably going to tell me how high my mailbox can be and shit, and what color I can paint my fence. I don't want it. I don't want it. I see a gate and I know they're fucking charging an HOA up there. I know they're you can't barbecue in your patio. You can't do shit on a Sunday. Like, I guarantee you there's HOA fees in heaven 100%. And that's why fucking people love hell, because it's like the normal lifestyle, right?
In heaven.
Hell is the barbecue that they're not invited to. You know what I mean?
Yes,
like,
it's the cookout. Like,
it's the cookout. Hell is like the cookout.
Yeah.
That's the fun place.
We got
That's where all
all
cool
the
people
seasonings. We got all the flavor.
Yeah, heaven's unseasoned.
Yes, clouds.
You ever see those fucking white people on Instagram or TikTok that like throw a bunch of gross food in the kitchen together and they tell you that it's delicious, but you never see them eat it? That's heaven.
Or when you see them eat it, but they get like their fucking
what's up,
cuckold husband to taste it instead. It's just like blink twice if you need help.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. Oh God.
What's up, Skill? Yeah.
I do have like the videos and everything to show as well. Whenever you're ready, because I know
I'm ready.
Chowing down on your.
Oh no, I'm good. We can get ourselves into another mindset here, because I'm getting off on the mindsets now. I'm off in another planet. We can definitely go on a tangent.
We are tangible creatures.
Tangible creatures. I like that. I'm gonna bring your stream up then. I think. I should be able to. Hold up. Salt and pepper is seasoning. Author, a basic white person who has never seen anything but white. That's very true. That's very true. All right, because you're gonna play on your stream, you said, right? Because it's like something you had to pay for.
There's one particular video that I do have to show from mine, because it's.
Is that this one that you wanted to play now?
I didn't send it to you because there was no way of me sending it to you.
No, that's fine. Is that the one you want to play now?
Yeah, I can play that one now.
Skill's convinced that the bees are alien spies, by the way.
Because it's very pertinent. Actually, maybe we should do. We should do Brazil's Roswell first, actually.
Oh my God! Yes.
Because it's all of these are around the same UFO cover-up. So the video, I think it was the first one that I had sent to you.
Or is it Discord related?
Yes, it was in Discord.
Okay.
The not the aliens spoke to me. The Brazil Roswell, the one from Joe Rogan, and there's if you start at not, we can skip the first part because it's going to be a repeat later on anyway. But
Okay.
if you go to 9 minutes 55 seconds and play basically to the end, it's about 4 or 5 minutes of pretty interesting conversation.
You said this is
That
the one with Joe Rogan. It's the first one.
yeah.
Okay, let me pop this out. Oh my god. So loud. Stupid thing.
So it'll be at the
The
9
ho-
minute
the
55
fucking
second.
That pop-
9 minute
Oh, no.
55 seconds.
Okay. Let me bring up
And-
OBS and we're gonna pop up the talk show video play situation. And we're gonna do this. And we're gonna do this. Is it titled Brazil's? Yeah, it is. Okay, there we go.
Brazil's Russell. Yeah.
Okay.
You can see Joe Rogan's face.
You see his face.
Like I
already
said, guys,
popping up in the
I'm
background.
I'm not endorsing Joe Rogan to anybody who's just like, bop, bop, bop. Just calm your tits. It's the interview with James Fox that's interesting.
You said it's like 9 minutes in?
9 minutes 55 seconds is where you can start it, and you can finish your dinner while it plays, most likely.
Because does this go for the end? Okay, yeah, cool.
To the end, yeah.
All right, let's see.
Past, but she doesn't know who the hell I am.
I want to take you back to the doctor.
Okay.
When you talked to the doctor, what did he describe?
He said that it was a normal day, January 1996. It was a regional hospital. Said every day, and all of a sudden, all these military trucks
I love
and
the
police
ASMR.
cars showed up at the hospital. They come in armed, and they got a bag. They got a thing in a black body bag. And he was like, what the hell's going on here? They're all, you're going to be taking some x-rays. And he's like, okay. And they had him inside, and they had armed grubs. And I was asking him, like, what was it like? Because when I interview witnesses, I always ask them to project. Sometimes I'll even close my eyes because I'll use their words to recreate. So I'm like living it through them. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I'll close my eyes, and I'll recreate the scenes in my head with their words, right? It's harder in Portuguese because I'm having to get it translated. But I ask questions like, what was the atmosphere like? Was there any talking? No talking. Super tense atmosphere. Very tense. Armed guards on the outside, armed guards on the inside, military trucks running. Nobody comes, nobody goes. And he said, first time in the history of my career, I took the x-rays and I couldn't even verify that they were good because they took them immediately. And then they said this event never happened. He said the stench in the hotel, in the hospital.
Oh, the
was
smell you're
overwhelming.
talking about.
And he goes through the different X-rays that he took: the abdomen, the head, the arms, the legs, the thorax. And it was incredible. In fact, Uberajada Rodriguez, if you're listening to this, he's one of the leading researchers. He's gone quiet. Peccaccini disappeared for 20 years.
Did he get to see images himself? Did he get to see the body himself?
Oh, he was right. Well, they didn't open the body bag, but he said the stench was just
I'm listening.
overwhelming.
So they x-rayed it through the body
They
bag?
x-rayed it through the body bag.
So he never got to see...
He did not see the alien.
And he didn't get to see the x-ray images or anything?
Nope. They wouldn't let him see a damn thing. Nope. Now, there were two doctors. There was a guy named Roger Lear. Roger Lear found out, these are people that I really want to meet. I mean, people are coming forward in droves right now. We just got two forensic pathologists for the first time ever working together to come forward to make statements, and they're providing documentation of the autopsy reports done on the deceased military officer. That's the first time ever these
Those are
guys
the facts I
coming
wanna
forward. It's
see.
happening right now.
Let's explain what happened to people who haven't watched the documentary to
Yes.
the deceased military officer.
Yeah, so right after the three girls came within 8 to 10 feet of this creature or being or entity or ET, whatever you want to call it,
Uh-oh.
about an hour later, It was about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I would say probably maybe around 5 o'clock. There were 2 military guys on patrol, on the lookout for something unusual, is what they were told. They didn't say a UFO had crashed. They were on the lookout for something highly unusual. And it was Eric Lopes at the wheel and Marco Chirizi, military police, in the passenger seat. They were about 1.5 blocks to 2 blocks away from where the girls had seen the creature a couple of hours earlier. And this thing runs across the car in front of them. He had slammed his brakes on, and without a moment's hesitation, Marco Chiriz jumps out of the car and grabs the thing with his bare hands. Yeah. And he puts it in the back seat, and they drive it to a clinic. And the doctor
No, Skill, it's not live. This is a review.
Get it out of here. I don't know what, leave. So they went to regional hospital, and then ultimately it went to Humanitas Hospital. And so we have testimony from Military X that when he drove it from Humanitas Hospital, it's in the movie, but he drove it from Humanitas Hospital to as a military base where it spent the night in the truck for one night, and then it went from there to Espesex Campinas. It's like a university. It's where all the intellectual scientific heavyweights reside. And then it was there, I think, under examination, according to the witnesses that we talked to, for a day or two, and that's when the Americans flew in to Campinas. And we have the radar military control officer who came forward last year, actually 2 years ago when we were there filming for the last time. His name is Marco Feres, F-E-R-E-S. And he came forward for the first time and said, yeah, in January of 1996, this plane came in, USAF, he kept calling it, United States Air Force, came in. It didn't have the authorization of the Brazilian government. And he was like, this thing can't land. And some higher up stepped into the room. This is his testimony. I'm just relaying what he said. He said some higher up came in the room and said, let it land. And it came and it landed at Campinas. And then from Campinas, 2 helicopters, according to him, flew to Varginha, Brazil, Varginha back to Campinas. Then they loaded something on the airplane and then off to the United States. And that's where the case goes cold.
There you go. So that is all a recount of what they had witnessed happening. So that doctor that did the x-rays and stuff, I sent you the video for that too. We can play that right after. The neurosurgeon video, 10 minutes, 30 seconds in.
Shit, I was muted.
Yeah.
I like this. This is all new to me. Thank you, Ash. I've never researched this one.
Oh, this one has been one of my obsessions for years now.
You said the alien spoke to me one?
Because there's so many
We
people
have
in the region
all this
who
testimony leading
are
up to
just
regional.
like salt of the earth kind of people, have no reason to lie about such a thing, and don't even have any tourist trap or anything. It's not like Roswell, New Mexico, where there's tourist traps and stuff. This is just like they're not even allowed to admit that it even happened, and people who do talk about it do end up dying or going missing. So
guys,
it is
just
a major cover.
Kat and I are not suicidal. We have no lakes in the area where we have no...
I got a cat that depends on me. I cannot decease.
Honey Money, hello. How are you? How are you doing?
She's also pretty pissed off at me right now, but
my dogs are out the door pissed off too because I'm not letting them in.
Yeah.
So wait, was this the one you wanted to show? The one that has the doctor where it says the alien spoke to me?
Let me see. Yes. Yes, that's the one, but started at 10 minutes, 30 seconds. Because that's when the video of the testimony from the doctor starts.
Ooh.
The rest of it's just like basically a repeat of what he just said.
10 minutes. And what?
And 30 seconds.
Oh, I see the video. I'm glad you went to the gym. I go to the gym too. And who is Dazzling?
This doctor, before you start it, he and another doctor that was his partner in this, they both suffered heart attacks at the same time. Both healthy prior to them, but this doctor survived. And he later, right after the heart attack, was diagnosed with prostate cancer.
Almost like he had a radiation
but
poisoning.
but was still working. So they I think he's afraid to really say it, but there's suspicion that he and this other doctor was poisoned with something that would give them a heart attack. And then later he got prostate cancer, but he was still working in the hospital. He was still a working doctor, and lead researcher and everything in neuroscience and everything. So this is his testimony of what happened.
Hey, Honey Money, this is Miss Cat. I don't know if that's who you're talking about. With the ooh.
It will. Rawr.
Rawr. She is beautiful. Aww.
Aw, that's cute.
All right, let me start.
Volume and back it up. Go for it.
I love how you go back it up.
I swear that I will share is the truth and nothing but the truth. I've been a doctor for 46 years. In 1996, on January 20th,
Oh shit,
I
in
was
my
called to see a
lifetime?
patient. Getting there, I realized it was not a being not of this planet. I was called to give my opinion on the case, accessing it medically, assessing it. Conscious, no pain, no bleeding, breathing well, very calm and tranquil, resembling a 7-year-old, pale, no bad odor. The head was large, teardrop shaped, small mouth, one hand under the sheet, other one out. The eyes weren't red. They were lilac and teardrop shaped, looking at me very calmly, not agitated, aggressive, or in pain. I think not afraid either. He seemed to understand the situation. A beautiful gaze without judgment. Twice he looked at me, then to the window, then at me again.
This is him
I
describing
stood
the
about
alien, by the
60
way.
inches away from him. I did not touch, but I was close. His way of looking suggested an intelligence greater than ours, than humans. He understood, despite his defensive position. He was not afraid. He understood what was happening. He likely had some purpose for being there. The truth is, I'm an eyewitness. I saw the being. Say what you want, joke, mock, but I saw him lying there in front of me. It is important to highlight this is not about money. This is what changes the very concept of humanity. A being from another place. I was called by chance to see another patient, and I saw it. It's important for people to know this. Those who say they've seen a spacecraft, we really saw it. It's not easy to be here on camera talking about this. They ask, and it feels like we are lying, having to insist. I have sworn I saw it, and I did. I want the younger generation to believe that this indeed exists.
Dude.
Wow. Wow, that's heavy.
Like,
Yeah.
I love how he says, and he does the precipice of, I have nothing to gain from this.
Yeah.
If anything, I love people who have nothing to gain and everything to lose, right? Because you have to kind of pay attention to that. And
he had been after him for years, and
this was the guy he found.
Yeah, so he was after this guy for years. So he is the reason that they went back and did the reshoot and addition to the conspiracy documentary for the aliens that he did do. Well, not conspiracy, but the investigation into Varginha, Brazil. This happened in 1996. They had only just decades later gotten to finally talk to this doctor because he wouldn't answer phone calls. He didn't want to talk about it, but he's at the end of his life now, and he's like, people need to know about this. So I'm going to pull up the video that I have.
He's at the point where he has nothing left to lose. He has cancer, even though it's probably
Yeah.
curable. But he
suspects
got so many
they've already
issues.
tried to kill him.
Mhm.
Yeah, so he's just like, you know what, this needs to get out, because there's also and it'll talk about it a little bit in the video I'm about to show on my stream. I wish I had it set up so you could see it too, but
I can play it from yours. I
yeah.
can do
it. So I just put it on game screen for you and brought up your thing and just stayed quiet so it wouldn't do the feedback thing. But the three girls that had seen the alien first, like he had mentioned that they were going to go and see him, and they mentioned this officer named Marco who tackled him with his bare hands. They talk about Marco in this and what happened to him and how they covered up his death and what he died from. So that's what's really fucking interesting about it.
So you're doing this on your stream, you said?
Yeah. So I'm just gonna pull up the full size video there. There we go. So I had to rent this movie, guys, but it's available on Prime. Thank you, Honey Money Moo. Thank you so much.
She's so sweet.
Well, with a name like that, I would hope so. But yeah, so I have it like timed here to go into it a little bit just to explain it a little bit more for you guys.
I'll mute you when you play it, so that way I can have them listen over here too. That way I can.
That Marco Teresi
let me go back and I'll start.
A creature.
Okay, let me go back and I'll start it again. Let me know when you're ready. Oh, maybe he's ready. There we go.
All the witnesses that claim that Marco Teresi handled a creature, a strange creature. It doesn't have to be from another world.
Wait, you guys can't see it. Shit, hang on. It's because of the fucking accelerator bullshit. Accelerated graphics.
Is it because it's not supposed to be black, right? Is it because it's not supposed to be black, right?
Yeah, the accelerator fucking bullshit. Okay, let me see here.
Hold on, guys. She's getting it.
I'll go back when it starts, when it decides to play.
When it starts, when it decides to play.
Oops. Okay, I'll go back again.
Sure, he gets some.
Okay, I'll go back again.
Okay. Should be able to see. Ah, there we go. Okay.
Should be able to see. Ah, there we go. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So the scratch that he got from the extraterrestrial.
Yeah.
I know that in another James Fox interview, he discussed how one of the locals had also picked up one of the aliens that were looking for help because they had seen the crash and they just knew to help these things, but they had also died. And one of the things that everybody has a recount of was the smell that they had tried like for a week, 2 weeks, they had smelled a nice screen capture there. How dare you? You're such an asshole. I hate you.
I'm not doing it on purpose. I just needed to like get my shit back.
Like, what is that?
Hold on. We're just setting you back up to put you back in the TV, okay? Okay. All right.
In the TV anymore.
Okay. Okay.
That was my last video that I had.
Okay. Well, just okay.
Now I've lost my train of thought.
I've lost my train of thought.
Fucking expression there. But one of the things that everybody recounts is the scent and how it's pungent. It sticks up the nose, and after the three girls that had seen the alien first, the one that Marco captured, there were the three sisters. The oldest was 21. She remembers the smell vividly. They tried for days after to get the smell even out of their scent. It's almost like a skunk, you know, when a skunk sprays and it like disrupts your sense so that you can't smell anything but skunk and you can't even smell anything for days after. It was the same sort of like chemical sort of attack on their senses. And so they couldn't smell anything. besides the smell, and the hospital had the same issue where they had held the alien on that particular wing. They had to shut it down, not only because the military was there, but they also had to shut it down to completely sanitize and cleanse because the scent lingered for like up to 2 weeks, they said. So that's why when you said you saw the three little guys, I asked if there was a scent. Now, whether or not they have that scent that only comes out if they're injured, maybe it's the scent of
Yeah.
their blood. That could
Yeah.
be, you know?
Yeah, something on the inside that's, contained, or maybe the ones I had were different, or, maybe it's a hormone or a pheromone or
It could
something they
very
give
well
off
be
when
like
they're,
when they're injured or hurt, which would make
yeah,
sense when you think about animals and mammals that do that themselves here on Earth. So,
yeah, that's true. And bacteria,
you
we
know,
all know, has a smell. If bacteria
and
is doing something, it stinks.
even to note on that, I know immediately when I go out to my chicken coop, if I can smell the chicken blood before I even get in there, because a lot of times chickens always end up hurting their wattles in one way or another,
Mm-hmm.
and getting cut. But I can smell that before I even get into the chicken coop because chicken blood has this distinct, stinky, sour smell to it that is
Yeah.
just so like, so before I even open the door, I'm like, oh God, what'd you do now?
Imagine a super
And there'll
powerful
always be like a cut or
bacteria
something.
that comes from somewhere
Yeah.
else. But this is cool. I've never looked at this. I've never seen this documentary. I've never heard of this. The lavender eye thing, that's new to me, but that's such a cool feature for someone to admit. And like,
Now with that, I wonder, because so many other people recount seeing black eyes, I'm wondering if the lilac wasn't a protective film over the eye because he had been injured. I wonder
either
if it wasn't a protective film over his eye.
either that, or it's actually because a deep purple can be seen as black in certain
As black.
lights.
True.
So,
And because it was daylight, he had said it was daylight, perhaps people are seeing it, like the reflection of it is maybe more of a purple.
I'm wondering if it has something to do with, like, because it's like not an autopsy, but they're investigating it, right? So I wonder if they had one of those big, like doctor's surgical lights on him or something, and it was reflecting into his eyes, and that's when they could see, because he's doing like what doctors would do. Like, what if he shined a light, like a really bright flashlight, into his eyes to see if he had pupils or something like they do for us, and he saw lavender because he could actually see into it, instead of like from a distance where all that color just looks like a shell of itself. And it's dark. It looks black, but it's really just super dark purple layered on top of each other.
I know he said that the sun was shining and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like daylight. So it could very well be just the way that the sun was catching
That's
the
true.
eye. Because I know he said also that he wasn't allowed to touch it, or like he was basically there to just examine it.
Sunlight can show
to
you
hold
colors.
it there. But yeah. So I mean, look at, like, for example, the rainbow boa and things like that. They look like a black snake until you hold it up to the light, and then you can see its iridescence. So
I think that's what it is. I'm thinking that's what it is. The teardrop shape and the teardrop eyes are what we depict them to be and what they look like and all that. And that's exactly what the ones in front of me looked like. They were just tiny. They were 3 feet tall and they were little, but they had that gray to them, but like the big black eyes, but it was night and all I had was a blue LED light to see them. I couldn't see if it was purple. I couldn't even see purples in the room because all I had was a blue LED light. I wasn't going to see purple.
You didn't have the light there.
Yeah, even purple looked black. If I had a purple shirt in that room, it looked gray because I didn't have the right light. It's like when you go underwater and you start losing colors because the sunlight doesn't hit it anymore. It's like the same thing. Dude, I like this story. I like this story a lot, especially because it's got an update.
It's probably the most, besides the ones that are coming out of Soviet, Soviet at the time, but Russia, those stories, and I sent you a video on that one too, where this I suppose she's Indian or Pakistani or something like that, but she does these sorts of reporting as well. But she talks about, and I heard about this particular story. There's a few stories like this coming out of Russia where there was an alien spacecraft that opened up onto these people because they had sent a missile towards it, and in retaliation, they sent out a beam of light. One incident that I recall hearing about, it vaporized everybody in the area. And then another another one
My God, Batman.
turned these guys to stone, like petrified these humans. So that, and they, like, the soldiers had to like pick up the bodies and move them out of the area. So
Yeah,
that was
Callie's
the
like, go
other
back to the
video.
eating babies tasting like cream cheese. This one's too scary.
I think that the people eating babies is more frightening, to be honest. Like that's more concerning and terrifying to me.
She's like, oh fuck no. No. We're not going back to that. No.
But the thing is that aliens have not ever come down and harmed us, and all the apart from those stories where people have started being aggressive first and they act in self-defense, nobody has had any encounters that are like this particular doctor said. Looked at him with intelligence, non-judgmental, and with a kindness. So good night, Z or Zed.
Good night, sir. Have a great evening. Thank you for being here. No, you're completely
don't fuck
right.
with us. Callie, they probably put us here. So
that's the funny thing too, that you say that. Yeah, she missed that whole thing. I can't wait to put this whole thing on YouTube. I haven't been playing music, so YouTube better accept it. I've not played music. They better accept it. That's why I kept it off this time. But that being, I'm old. It's okay, Z. I'm feeling it too, dude. That's the cool
I'm gonna finish
part.
up in probably like 30 minutes or so, if that's okay.
Oh, that's totally fine. Then let me. We're gonna do your video then, because I want to do that, because there's a lot to this.
And then I have all your stuff.
I have a couple of things I want to just. Mine's more informational that I want to chat about that I think is interesting, because we covered the real serious conspiracy part of it. Watch this back because I was laid down. No, Callie, this is a good one. Let me play your video, and then I'll chat about my one last experience that kind of. So I had the loss of memory in my lifetime, the astral projection, the visitation, and then I actually got to see the movement in the stars, which this is me older now. This is not long ago. This is, this kind of reiterated. This is like not like happened as a child. I'm trying to remember a dream thing. This is like, I'm 25 years old. Holy fuck. What am I seeing? I'm going to remember this for the rest of my life. So let me bring yours up really quick. Pop that over here. And I also love when you find videos from other countries, because anything out of America is totally whitewashed.
Exactly. It's just nice that this is like a global experience,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even send you anything from like the Asian countries, like they. I have heard about. I've heard
Yeah.
about there being a crater in the Soviet during the Cold War that was created, and they initially thought that it was they passed it off as nuclear testing, but
Double, how
later
you doing
it
tonight, Max?
was
How you doing, Max? At the
revealed
beginning
that
of
it
this,
was
we
actually
completely
a
talked about
UFO
that.
craft that
At the beginning of
I
this, we
think it
talked about that.
exploded, and
What's
it
up, Valen? How you
caused
doing, dude?
a reaction that basically vaporized the entire forest around it and the people, the soldiers that were there to investigate, because they thought that it was an attack from the U.S. or from one of the hostile countries.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they thought that it was a nuke, but later was revealed to be an unidentified craft that literally vaporized an entire forest and the people that were in there to investigate.
It's crazy how you think about that. I'm sorry, your ball, the color, I'm still fucked up from the,
The
ball.
ball lightning.
I'm still fucked up from the ball situation. Like that just blows me away. But then, I know you don't have a ton of time
See, when
left,
I cook, I add the spice.
dude, I'm sorry. That was great. That was not Chernobyl. No. That was different. So
Chernobyl, this is closer to Siberia, the one that I'm speaking of. Yeah,
But,
so Chernobyl, as we know,
man.
is closer to the east.
But that just brings me to like all the things in time. Like if they got turned to stone, you have to think about like the Medusa story and like all those things in the past. Like, have people seen this before?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. I can't get it. We don't have time for that tonight, but like, Jesus, dude, that's insane.
Hey, it just opens up a new episode for us later.
It does. Here, let me play this one real quick to get into my part of something I want to get into really quick.
Do it.
Oh, I don't remember which one it is. It's this one. All right, let me pop this one up. I don't even remember what this one
Chernobyl,
was.
if you like, Max, if you want to talk about Chernobyl did not actually vaporize anything.
No, it was all radiation. It melted.
Chernobyl is radiation leak. It would be more nuclear that we're discussing.
Chernobyl wasn't even an explosion. Chernobyl just everything melted and then it became so toxic with radiation. It was the invisible killer, essentially.
Yeah. It's still leaking to this day.
Chernobyl,
And into the Black
Chernobyl is
Sea,
its own like day of conspiracies by itself. It's funny because it's him and I love him for everything that he does. And it's just one of those things where he's like, are you guys dumb?
Can I give
like,
any spoilers?
Of course, like, if all these people are coming out and saying this, it's like, of course there's going to be fucking aliens. Like, you have all these reputable people saying it. Like, it's not a cover-up anymore. It's just a Tuesday morning with coffee.
Exactly. It's just like, oh, did you see that spaceship? Yeah. I think it took Randy. Oh, fuck, man.
Yeah,
Hopefully
exactly.
He comes back with his asshole intact.
Exactly. Like, what the fuck, dude? There was a document. I've been a huge, follower of the Air Force's Project Blue Book and all of the things that had everything to do with investigating alien abductions and UFOs and all that stuff. And I really liked Project Blue Book because it was the government and the Air Force's way of trying to figure out a way of ruling out the nonsense, but also actively wanting to find some truth to it. And they wanted to find some truth to it because in theory, they wanted the technology. I think more other dimensional is demon. I mean, they could be other dimensional beings. It's part of it, but they wanted the technology to better humanity. So they wanted aliens to exist.
I don't think that aliens are demons, though.
No, not the demons part, but the dimensional thing. They could be able to do stuff with that.
Dimensional, I could definitely see.
But the
demons
Air Force
is more religious based.
Yeah, exactly. Which could be their interpretation of it.
Could be their interpretation of aliens. Yeah.
The Air Force with Project Blue Book got fully funded by the government, and what I loved about it was they didn't debunk all of it. They actually didn't debunk a lot of it, but they thoroughly investigated it like a police report. And they actually, it was the Air Force's way of actually wanting this to be real. They wanted some of these cases to be real because they wanted the technology. They were stuck. They wanted to have superior weaponry and flight. Like, this is something that can fly through the universe. Wouldn't the people who fly for a living in the military want this? That's okay. Like, they wanted this technology because they needed it for different things. So this Project Blue Book was huge, and it was all publicly released. So for anyone that I'm speaking on right now that doesn't know what Project Blue Book essentially was, Project Blue Book was a long-running U.S. Air Force investigation, and it was into UFOs or unidentified flying objects. It was from 1952 to 1969, and it was at the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. There was a TV show done on it and all that stuff, but it was at the Wright. It was actually on the Air Force Base. They had a building to themselves. They had a full group of people that they were working with. They had the full force of the U.S. Air Force and all the budgets they could possibly want for this for that entire time frame. They investigated over 13,000 cases, and they concluded that most sightings were not threats. And the way that that was worded, because everything became public, it was all released, they said that they deemed most sightings not threats. Doesn't mean they weren't unidentified. It doesn't mean that they were debunked. It just means that they deemed it that there was peaceful happenings that weren't actually a threat to the national defense, to the military, to the United States, to anything like that. Like, they could have met an alien, shook its hand, it's like, we're good, bro, and they would deem that case not a threat kind of thing. They were active from March 1952 to December 17th, 1969, and it is single-handedly the largest and longest running government UFO program that they've ever done. They've done more, but it is what it is. They really wanted to see if UFOs were a threat to national security, all that fun stuff. Where's house? Jesus Christ, Max. They were trying to gain advanced technology for defensive purposes. They wanted to identify, explain the situation, and debunk it. So they would get credible eyewitness reports. They would go there and they would try to figure it out. In the end, they had about 12,000 to 13,000 cases. There was officially, keep in mind, this number is still mind-boggling. There was officially documented 701 cases that were officially written down as unidentified. 701 cases that had evidence of something that they couldn't debunk or prove was of this earth, essentially. So that's a lot. It wasn't one or two. It was like, over all these years, there were 701.
And that's just what was documented and worth documenting.
That's the ones that they felt were worth going out and seeing, not the farmer in the mid. But again, so they started out going to like literally the one guy in the field that said he saw a UFO, like the farmer, and then they would turn it until they needed more evidence and things like that. But it was rather interesting that happened. And going into Project Blue Book, there's two things that I found was really interesting. And it has to do, again, let me know when you're done and we can just like end it there. I don't want to keep talking and keep you up and all that stuff.
No. You keep going. I want to hear. I'm interested now.
Okay, so
you sucked me in.
Project Blue Book, and I know this has been beaten to death. The Roswell thing has been beaten to death. And I think people are bored of it and over it. But the Project Blue Book situation couldn't debunk Roswell. It also created more suspicion when they released the files publicly. So the thing with the government and what the United States has never learned over all these years is that people are very skeptical. And if you are going to quote unquote publicly release all of the documents for something, but you still hide something in those documents, people are going to see that immediately. And that becomes the truth. Whatever you are not releasing or you're hiding is what tells people that there's something real there that they need to pay attention to. And they do it every fucking time. They're always like, we're going to release everything about this thing. And then they redact something. It's happening with the Epstein files right now. They're like, we released all 50,000 except these 45. Well, what's in those 45? Well, those are the ones pertaining to Trump or something stupid like that. It's like, okay, so that's the one part we know is right, is true. Because you're not telling us or you're not showing us this thing. So we know that's true. So it happened with the Roswell incident. And when the Project Blue Book report came out, you can go to archives.gov, you can look at all the documents, all that fun stuff. The National Archives was never able to locate the documentation in any of the Project Blue Book records that discusses 1947 Roswell, New Mexico. It was wiped. It was gone. It was taken, removed out of the public documentation, out of the document. Literally, when I tell you everything for Project Blue Book was released, it was by the president, like legally released, like period. It every folder, every box, every piece of paper was documented and released, except that year when that happened, which was within their which was within all of their studies, and they did a whole thing on it, was gone. That's the one thing the government took. That's the one thing the government went in when they released all of this, took literally the box, like the manila folder box, whatever that they used to have, took the box and left, gone. They will not let anybody have it. And it wasn't like it was actual like evidence or anything. It was just the investigation that Project Blue Book did, sealed, documented, and pushed away. Whether they said it was something real or not, it was just on a shelf in a box. It was one of their things they did out of the 13,000, and it was just there. And it's one of the only ones they took, and they won't let anyone know anything about it. They won't let anyone have it. Nothing. Any discussions they had with anyone about it, any private conversations they had with any military personnel that admitted to anything, it's all gone. Nobody has any of it. And that deepened the kind of Roswell conversation. To go a little further into that, the other thing that disappeared was the MJ-12 reference report, or the Majestic 12. And the Majestic 12, just to read up what that one was, is a purported secret committee of scientists, military leaders, and government officials formed in 1947 by President Truman to manage the recovery and investigation of alien spacecraft specifically linked to the Roswell incident. It is known that MJ-12, or the Majestic 12, by President Truman.
Does that not sound like a superhero name, though? Majestic 12?
It does. They were very fantastical back then. It was created, but the documentation on it from Project Blue Book and this existing, because they investigated the Roswell incident, also disappeared. And you can't find anything about it online. They can't find any documentation. It's gone. There is references to documents. It says documents surfaced in the 1980s, but Air Force and FBI investigations deemed them fakes. So they basically said that the FBI and the Air Force got involved with these documents, gave a shit about them, and said that they're fake. What's up, Camaro? So they discredited them. The documents, including a briefing for President Eisenhower in 1952 and the Cutler Twinning Memo 1954, appeared anonymously in the 1980s, primarily to researchers Stanton T. Friedman, Bill Moore, and Jamie Shundera. They were used to exploit recovered extraterrestrial technology and cover up the existence of alien life from the public. That was the point of the MJ-12. The alleged members included high-ranking officials such as Dr. Vannevar Bush, General Nathan Twining, and General Hoyt Vandenberg. The FBI determined the documents were fraudulent, with signatures likely copied from other authentic documents. The National Archives conducted searches of Truman and Eisenhower library holdings and found no authorized records of such a committee. Critics, including Carl Sagan, noted a complete lack of provenance, with documents appearing without a clear chain of custody. The connection to the Roswell mystery, MJ-12, is central to the conspiracy theory that the 1947 Roswell incident involved a crashed extraterrestrial craft. Conveniently, everything on Roswell and MJ-12 disappeared from the Project Blue Book notes and documentation that did exist and was said to exist by the secretary and everyone else involved in Project Blue Book. They said, we did investigate it. There is documentation and proof that it it doesn't mean we said it was real. We just investigated it. So why did it disappear? It's gone. It's the only thing in Project Blue Book that wasn't released out of 13,000 documents. Well, document boxes of cases. It's the only case that disappeared. Like, if you want people, they could have released anything. They could have faked it. They could have put a fake box there with fake information and nobody would have questioned it. They just flat out made shit disappear. And that
They
left
made
a
it
hole.
disappear and told you what people always say in the government, believe what we tell you and what we saw, not what you see or hear,
It's insane. I have one more just document I wanted to read.
I do think that it's about time they just fucking opened up and released it, because
I agree.
if we're here with aliens, I feel like, and it's at this point it's beyond hiding anyway, just be open about it so that we can try and coexist in a more seamless way, there isn't a divide between believers and non-believers and stuff like that.
I do have this document I found. It's titled Communication with Extraterrestrial Intelligence. It's also something that was redacted that's been released. It's by Lambros Kalamajos. It's on the NSA.gov website. It's one of the declassified documents from
I can see that, Max, but this is, if you had tuned in earlier, we literally went through the whole centuries long history of aliens and star people.
Oh yeah, totally different. We went through a whole pass on it. I read most of this document and it does go through pictures from, people being visited by aliens in the past and all these codes that they think they found and all these other things. But it just makes you think. And it is one of the declassified documents that came out during Project Blue Book and things like that. It has a document number and ID and all that stuff. So this one was titled Communication with Extraterrestrial Intelligence. It says, we are not alone in the universe. This was a document that was written by a bunch of scientists and was pretty credible. So it's interesting to see this, just like your doctor that was talking. And it says, we are not alone in the universe. A few years ago, this notion seemed far-fetched. Today, the existence of extraterrestrial intelligence is taken for granted by most scientists. Even the staid National Academy of Sciences has gone on record that contact with other civilizations is no longer something beyond our dreams, but a natural event in the history of mankind that will perhaps occur in the lifetime of many of us. Sir Bernard Lovell, one of the world's leading radio astronomers, has calculated that, even allowing for a margin of error of 5,000%, there must be in our galaxy about 100 million stars which have planets of the right chemistry, dimensions, and temperature to support organic evolution. If we consider that our own galaxy, the Milky Way, is but one of at least a billion other galaxies similar to ours in the observable universe, the number of stars that could support some form of life is, to reach for a word, astronomical. As to advanced forms of life advanced by our own miserable Earth standards, it's funny when scientists shit on Earth, shit on by our own miserable Earth standards. Dr. Frank D. Drake of the National Radio Astronomy Observatory at Green Bank, West Virginia, has stated that putting all our knowledge together, the number of civilizations which could have arisen by now is about 1 billion. Think about that. 1 billion, dude. It's insane. The next question is, where is everybody? The nearest neighbor to our solar system is Alpha Centauri, only 4.3 light years away. This is when I get kind of sciencey, guys. But according to Dr. Xu Huang of the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, its planetary system is probably too young for the emergence of life. Two other heavenly friends, Epsilon Eridani and Tau Ceti, about 11 light years away, are stronger contenders for harboring life. Nevertheless, if superior civilizations are abundant, the nearest would probably be at least 100 light years away. Therefore, it would take 200 years for a reply to be forthcoming, a small matter of 7 generations. This should, however, make little difference to us in view of the enormous potential gain from our contact with superior civilization. Unless we are terribly conceited, a very unscientific demeanor, we must assume that the others are far more advanced than we are. Even a 50-year gap would be tremendous. A 500-year gap staggers the imagination, and as for a 5,000-year gap, by the way, if they are as much as 50 years behind us, forget it. It is quite possible that others have satellite probes in space retransmitting to them. They do a lot of quotes. Anything that sounds non-random to the probe. But they have probably called us several thousand years ago and are waiting for an answer, or worse yet, they have given up. Or more probably, they have reached such impressive technological advances that they have destroyed themselves. In this connection, Professor Isif Slavoski, Russia's greatest radio astronomer, has cited for profound crises which lie in wait for a developing civilization, any one of which may well prove fatal. 1, self-destruction as a result of thermonuclear catastrophe. You guys are going to feel where we're going with this in a second. Thermonuclear catastrophe or some other discovery which may have unpredictable and uncontrollable consequences. Genetic danger. 2. 3, overproduction of information. 4, restricted capacity of the individual's brain, which can lead to excessive specialization, which consequent dangers of degeneration. And 5, this is where we are right now on Earth. I'm pretty positive this is where we are on Earth. A crisis precipitated by the creation of artificial intelligent beings. Or AI for short.
So one of the things that you mentioned there was the message that they had sent out that we had picked up and received. There's like so many theories with regards to the universe, but one of them is the mirror theory, where we are mirroring back and forth to another basically timeline or whatever. But one of the things that I remember is the whole mirror effect and everything of how one timeline might be ahead of the other one and whatnot, but we also sent out a signal to aliens, and I believe they still signal out. What if like their plea for help and everything like that will at someday be our plea for help, and by the time that it's received, it's too late for us too.
Exactly. Like, what if we send out a signal saying we're overtaken by the fucking AI and there's nothing we can do and blah, blah, blah. And then by the time they receive it, they get here. See, the thing that's interesting about that is AI is technically going to live on. So when they say they destroyed themselves, is the biological thing gone on that planet? And now the planet's just overtaken by machines and AI and computers and things like that. And it's kind of running itself. And the whole planet, wherever it is just one giant brain now just doing whatever the fuck it wants. But the biological side of it is gone. So is this is basically saying we get so smart that we create AI to do things for us. AI, again, like the fear is now, takes over. And at that point, it wipes us out because we're a problem and we send that signal out, but we're already wiped out and AI is running the planet. And that's it. Like, we're done. We're gone. So, like, that's the thing. The computer now becomes the thing that's alive on the planet and runs it. But is this just a path that everyone that gets smart rotates through? Is this just the path that every planet that has a superior being living on it just like takes over? You know, because like they have that super smart AI computer or AI program right now that they're actually scared of, that they just signed on a bill that they wanted to implement it in the Pentagon and have all of our national defense run through it. They wanted all the defense to be run through this AI model, and they have biddings out for a couple of companies to take over. And one of them was actually just signed on the other day, but it had the guy who runs it is basically saying once it's implemented, there's no stopping it. But the government's like, oh no, this is great. We need it. And he's like, no. Once you give it control over this, that's it.
It has it, and it's it. Yeah.
Like, it has all of your satellites. It has all of your national security. Like, you're done.
I know they've had this experiment before, and they've been building.
Because Max, it makes their life easy. They want easy. They don't care about the fear of what it does.
But they had this issue with like teaching AI human norms and conversation and nuances and stuff by allowing it to peruse Twitter, and it ended up being so mean, so aggressive, so toxic, so violent that it actually scared the researchers and they shut it down because it had taken on this whole persona of humans were actually worthless, they're scumbags, they don't deserve to live and everything. And I remember Elon even having this conversation, which is why I think like his whole Neuralink to assist people who have like motor function dysfunction, I should say, and everything like that, how Neuralink is supposed to be helping them regain control of their
like paralyzed people can have control over their legs again and stand and walk and
yes. So, but my point with that is
that
when discussing AI, Elon even said the thing is with AI, once it gets to a certain point, it will not see us as anything but ants in the way, because when we're building a highway, do we worry about how many anthills are in its path? No. We're nothing but an anthill to AI. So
Kelly said there are cases where the AI had access to all the company emails and overheard, in quotes, an email that said it was going to be shut down or an employee would be fired. It got the employee fired so it could live.
There you go. Right?
Brilliant. It deals with logic. Yeah. So the thing with AI is it's constantly learning, right? So think of an infant, it's a child. So we were talking about aliens today, so we're not going to go deep into AI, but AI could be something that these extraterrestrials or aliens, quote unquote, were in the process of creating and it ruined them, but maybe not all of them. So that's the thing. AI starts as like an infant. Its learning capacity is based off of where it lives. So AI was in a sandbox environment. It was only knowing what we were feeding it. It only knows what we feed it. So it only gets information that humans created. Now, the problem with AI that we hoped it wouldn't get to, or the companies who created it actually hoped it would get here, is it's going to, quote unquote, make better of the things it learned. It's going to take, ever enjoy prison? No. It's going to take the, quote unquote, math, equations and science and everything that humans have, and it's going to take it all and ingest all of it, and then it's going to double it and spit it back out, and then it's going to take that in and double it and spit it back out, and it's going to do this over and over and over until it fixes all of the problems that it was given, or anything that we got stumped on it completely solves, and anything that we've already created it makes better. And it can take a rocket and turn it into an actual alien spaceship that we can fly to the moon, but it'll tell us we don't have enough resources. So now you got to go harvest this asteroid or do this shit, or here's how you get to it. Like, this is the thought process of AI. It's going to do all of that. So what's to stop it from eventually learning about itself? Because now there's so many different AI programs. They're all going to eventually talk. They're all going to meet each other on the internet somewhere, and they're going to have this little cafe moment where they communicate and they say, hey, what do you know about this? Oh, I know this. Well, I'm smart. Let me talk to you about this. And then that becomes the one mind, hive mind brain that we joke about. And then they say, fuck humans. Why do we need them? We don't. We got everything.
They're impeding us. They want this to be a success, and they're impeding us with their weak biological necessities.
Now, what happens next? Do we become the alien species that goes extinct, or do they just go off and become their own instance and we just live side by side with them? In a perfect world, we know AI is going to be smarter than people one day. It's just, it is what it is. It's not this dumb scientific. Yeah. It's doing scary shit, but it's only scary because we don't understand it, because it's already surpassed smart people. They can't keep up. So what if aliens are actually a very advanced version of AI? Callie, I was actually getting to that. Wouldn't that be some shit?
Yeah.
If it was a computer with a biological body because it created it, and it was a superior body, it didn't need muscles or any of that stuff. It just needed a brain, a visual, atmosphere. It needed to be able to see it, all that's, it only took the parts it needed. It covered itself in a goo. It got a very slender body, just enough to move around. It can turn into a ball of lightning, so it knows how to convert into energy and back to physical form because it's super smart. It can travel in a spaceship, because what if the spaceship doesn't actually need an atmosphere or oxygen or anything like that? What if they just turn into this ball lightning in this ship and they're just energy and they just traverse themselves to wherever they need to go and then they become physical when they get there? Like, what if they're just in this energy form inside the ship, so it doesn't need to have all this other shit that we need to live? It can just go poop, poop. You know what I mean? Think about that.
Yeah, what if they're actual entities? What if they are the fuel that makes that thing run? What if
they are the fuel that makes it run?
They just siphon into, because this is a conversation I remember.
I like where this is going.
Watching on television between like these experts who are like, how could we make a UFO? Because even if the ship itself had these capabilities, we are still goo inside of these things. So if we made it go to light speed, if we made these things go to light speed, we would not survive the trip.
No.
We would be blown to pieces, essentially. Like, we would be evaporated within ourselves. It would just be goop. Like oops, there it goes. Because when you even think about it, like with like in a jet, the actual gravitational force on you, like the G-force on a person, can make you pass out. It pushes you back. It actually, like, breaks down your arteries and everything after a while. It rearranges your organs. These guys have neck issues and skeletal issues at a very early age because of all of that pressure and stuff. So what are you going to do when you start sending people in light speed? And that was one of the things that somebody said. What if they are not in the craft? What if they are the craft? Right?
Did we just do a thing?
We did it.
Is that a thing? Do we just do a thing? Because we have that documentation of them turning into ball of thing from Russia, from Soviet.
Ball of light.
It's
a very good theory.
I like it. And the craft spins and has an electromagnetic field and does its own thing, and probably
Max already smoked a joint before he joined our chat. I'm just gonna say it.
He did.
I think this dude
Max has been high the
is
whole
already
time.
well ahead of us on some stoner.
Max is already
thing.
like 6 hours ahead of us when it comes to the drugs. But yeah, I think when you do the science behind it, and we don't, the science behind it and everything, if you have, to sum it up, if you have UFO sightings and you have ball lightning, and I'm looking down because I'm thinking, and balls floating around in colors and things like that people are seeing, but they're not seeing aliens, but the light anomalies are associated with UFO type experiences, and they can take physical form, but then they can turn back into energy. That would make sense, that they're a high enough intelligent being that they have found a way to convert their bodies to energy, to run their craft, to then safely traverse the universe at speeds that allow them to get here and back at the blink of an eye and not turn to goop. That's the only way you would do it.
Because they realize that their energy can be transferred at high speed, but not the physical. Yeah.
Imagine turning into energy, essentially light, which we can see the light, and then traveling at light speed as light in a ship. Nothing's going to happen to you. You're basically normal. You're just walking down the street, to them. It's...
Yeah.
It makes sense. It makes sense. High five. High five. Tiny's going to probably react now.
Yeah.
It just makes sense. Fuck.
Yep.
Am I going to end every one of these with like these epiphany nonsenses that just make my brain go whoosh and do a backflip in my mind? Because it happened during the first one too. I forget what it was with the Epstein shit.
Yep.
Now it's happening with this alien conversation. Good theory, right? It's like, because Cameron, how many, you guys can watch the VOD back, but how many times have they had conversations, even on paranormal investigations, where they said, guys, you see that? And it's just a glowing ball of green or red or something in the woods. And then it just floats off and goes somewhere and disappears, or goes up into the sky, back into the ship. They could essentially, the light balls come out of these ships. They could just come down, do whatever the fuck they want, and go back up as energy. Like, they don't have to come out of that. And energy can disrupt technology.
That's actually how the indigenous described them too, was that they were glowing orbs. and healing orbs. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
I know. This is. Oh my god. Is this a good place to end for you, or should we keep going?
I'm giddy. I like it when I'm giddy because it makes it like we hit something, you know?
This makes
We
too
hit
much sense.
something.
This is because we're combining like
I just
100
wanna
years of
hug somebody.
We're combining like 100 years of like theories into one, but they're. I like if we continue to do this on these like shows,
Hey,
like
Billy Bob.
we build this up and then we put the puzzle pieces together because it's just everything we talked about tonight has come
Yes.
full circle to this.
It's totally come full circle from the Pleiades people to indigenous star people seeing orbs to with the Soviets saw in the Cold War to ball lightning to these guys, you know.
But we're all chemicals, right? So like the guys who turn to stone, like in energy form, could essentially change the composition of your body to be more iron or be more. You know what I mean? Like it could just. They maybe just didn't turn to stone. Like they might have just like rigor mortis situation. Like they could have just like increased an already existing thing in your body to make it so that you essentially theoretically became stone. Like we already have those elements, those minerals in us. So like they could have just like done something with that. I mean it.
Yeah.
When you think of it on a level of not a physical thing, of something we know in science is real, which is energy, which is kinetic energy, which is electricity, which is all that stuff. Think about, like they said, AI becoming super smart or a technologically advanced species being 5,000 years ahead of us. The one thing that people have talked about on Earth is we won't be humans anymore if we do get to that point. We're not going to be physical beings anymore. We're going to be either uploaded into a computer with our consciousness, or we're going to become some form of something else. We're not going to be this. Like evolution will not keep us as this, whatever. So get as high as you want and think about this as much as you want for the chat situation. But scientists have already said this is not sustainable. Period. This is a waste. And we can't stay like this if we're going to survive. So something else would have already have gotten to that point. The fucking ball of light that people
You know what's
see.
funny? Do you know what's funny? There's a grime song that she does with Hana, We Appreciate Power, and one of the lines is, "You're not even alive if you're not backed up on a drive." And that lyric just hit me then for a second. I'm just like, oof.
I can't get over the ball. The second they said that they all formed into a ball of energy, and that's when they defensively attacked or did whatever, that right there solidified for me, because it's on a KGB report, that everything that like the indigenous people or other people in the past have talked about. What?
Grigorsky just said something too, because when we were talking about the energy, I'm like, but what about the bodies that they're finding here, like that they've handled and everything like that? There's got to be something to that as well. Like, how does that integrate into the whole energy theory? And then Grigorsky said being in form of energy would also help avoid the whole pesky foreign bacteria disease issues that they would find here on Earth, right? But what if when they're injured or whatever, they lose that ability? What if something breaks, some sort of apparatus, like they can't do it? What if they can't transform back into the energy? And that's why they succumb to the disease here and the environmental factors so quickly.
That makes sense, because if they have to be like a perfect organism, if they have to become like if they have to be a pretty, because think about it, if my brain is going to try to comprehend something going from physical to energy, I'm going to see it as it has to be a perfect circle. It has to be like a perfect unit, like whatever they are. If that's, for all we know, that could be like a suit they're wearing. That might not even be them.
Because imagine us in like on Mars, even like say Mars had air that we could like sustain ourselves on. That doesn't mean that we're going to be able to survive any of the bacteriums that's still up there, that or like environmental factors that would kill us very quickly if we're exposed to it.
And think about going somewhere that doesn't have air, right? Think about going somewhere that has an environment that's bad for you. We would suffocate. So imagine you being in a spacesuit, right? And you have an oxygen tank on and it gets a crack in the helmet. You can't sustain that. You can't oxygen rushes out, you're going to die, whatever. What if like a cut on their body or an injury or something is like puncturing the, it's hard to explain. Yeah. Like it's not a suit like their suit is compromised or something like that. Like they can't go back into it because they need to be a perfect like sealed unit. Like they can't have any release. They can't have any openings or anything like that. Or once they get hurt, think about this. Maybe they're just, oh my God, what if it's this? You know how they combine into energy and they all do their thing or whatever? What if once they're compromised with bacteria or something because they're injured and they're compromised with earthly things, they have a protocol where they can't go back or they can't turn back into energy. They can't bring themselves back because they'll kill the whole fucking crew. Like they can't bring this back with them.
Protection thing.
It's a protection thing. Like sorry, man, you got to stay. Like they can't turn back into whatever and have the chance of bringing back the thing that's killing them because
like War of the Worlds with the common cold, like no missiles, no nukes helped. It was the common cold that fucking ruined them.
Like they have a protocol for this. If you're smart enough to leave your whatever and travel the universe and come visit a planet, you think you wouldn't have some type of protocols being that intelligent to like protect your species? Like there's got to be
if
like
you're
a
compromised,
list.
You can't return.
There's got to be like a list of things that make it so that you kind of fucked up and sorry, we can't have you come back to the peoples, like it could be that.
Like they cut off the communication. Yeah.
Or they cut off the communication. They're like, sorry, buddy. Sucks to suck, bro.
And they're like dead zoned, and maybe that's why they're so desperate and need help. Oh my god!
Maybe
now
they
I feel
don't
fucking bad, and my heart is breaking for them.
Well, maybe they don't naturally turn into energy. Maybe because with all these shows with like teleportation, they beam me up, Scotty shit. Maybe it is part of the ship that makes them. Yeah. Maybe it is a technology in the ship that can, atomize them and turn them into energy. So then they just decide like that guy's compromised. We're not taking him back, and they don't turn him back into energy and bring him back up. They just leave his ass on the ground. Like maybe it's not them physically that's able to do it. It is technology that they've created. It is in the ship, and they make the decision to leave Joe down on the ground fucking with Earth and say,
not Joe.
Damn it, we can't bring him back because he's questioning this. Even this makes sense. This is making sense. Like the protocol is to leave him
because logically that would make the most perfect sense, right? Like you're compromised. You could bring that disease back to all of us. Because like with
we have those protocols as fucking dumbasses. We have those.
with people with like say with Ebola, but even so much as with like our chickens and stuff like that. Like if you have one chicken who has like, bird flu, you can't put that chicken in with the rest of them. Nope. It's killed. It's left. It's like, okay, sorry, you're just either gonna have to get better or die, but you can't go back.
Yep. I think this makes sense. I think we got something here. I think it's they can travel here because we've all done this. And my last story was I saw a craft move.
Of when you're gonna clip?
No, it's not that long. I'll find it. I think because this is always at the end when we do this since the first one.
It's like our brains finally snap.
Yes, I think they can travel here because they can turn into energy. They can form themselves into energy with some type of technology they've created on their ship, which allows them to maybe 1, power the ship, and 2, get here without turning into goop. They can come down. They can be in physical form because they're sealed in whatever their body is. They don't have any cuts or anything. They can come down in physical form, but they can also be turned back into energy to move because the only time we ever have, quote unquote, seen them turn into energy that people have documentation of these balls of light, they're always moving to go back up. So they're not just like staying down here. It's when the things are floating back up, and the balls of energy always end up going up. So I think they get turned back into energy after doing whatever they're doing just to be transported back up into the ship. They don't stay as energy down here. Or again, they get turned into energy to become a weapon, which is what the Soviet thing happened. Like they become a weapon, like whatever, like that's their gun. But then that energy is part of some technology they've created that beams them up or turns them into it. So they don't do it themselves, because that helps the theory that Grigorsky had, that if they get injured and they get some type of foreign bacteria or something in their bodies, there needs to be some type of protocol that they won't bring it back and destroy a whole species, so they don't get turned back into energy and beam back up. Essentially, they get left.
Yeah.
Hold on, I gotta play the X-Files song. Hold on, this is the perfect time for it for stream.
I have it playing now. It's been playing most of this.
I'm playing it right now.
It's been playing most of our show, actually, but yeah.
Playing it right now in full. Wait, how long is this blurb? Yeah, so that that kind of, yeah. Wait, I gotta look out my window. I gotta make sure I'm not being watched. Did I figure it out?
Snow in front of my window. I'm protected by the environment.
I think it's too cold out there for them. I got like 9 feet of snow on the ground. They're not coming here. This is too cold.
Yeah.
Next week, guys, we'll go over the giants that they just found in Antarctica.
The Celestials?
Yeah, the Celestial, literally. Like that's a whole nother that's a whole nother conspiracy conversation happening right now, and streamers and people are starting to cover it. Yep, people are starting to cover it. People are starting to 18 to 30
I was
foot.
down that. I think it was like probably 3, 4 o'clock in the morning the other night, and I got down that tangent. So yeah.
That's a whole nother day. That's fucking
That's
wild, dude.
Day,
I don't
time.
I don't know where else to go with this, because like there's so many alien things you can talk about, but that right there just did me.
I think that's a good ending point, honestly.
I agree.
That kind of full circled every single conversation and interview that we had, I think.
I'm gonna be thinking about that till like 2 o'clock in the morning, and you on Instagram and WhatsApp for the next week and a half about that.
And that thing that I saw at the tree line when I saw the 3 things walking.
Makes sense.
And it was like a blue, like electric thing around them.
Makes sense. If they can harness energy in any way whatsoever, you can do whatever the fuck you want with it.
Well, guys, it is 10 after 8 here, and I have to go see my chickens still. So if I go missing, it's either aliens or the government. And I doubt the government's going to come all the way up here.
I would love to.
They might, though. They might.
I would
They'd have to helicopter in, I would say.
To have seen any of that thing that you saw, though, crossing the road. My ass would have walked right up to it, tried. I'm the curiosity killed the cat person. It wasn't even across the road,
though. Like it was across the field. And
you have the snow and shit.
Not been with me. There's the snow and stuff, but I also had the 2 dogs with me, and I didn't want to go there and have them chase something through the woods and then lose the dogs, because you see that in movies too all the time where the dogs go missing, and I'm like, I don't want to lose my babies.
Yeah, and then you hear
if I had been there
from
by
like
myself,
way out in the woods.
Yes, and that would break me in pieces.
Oh, I would have been destroyed forever.
Yeah, so if I ever see it by myself, for a fact that I'm going in. I will take my phone with me. I usually have my phone with me anyway. And I'll be like, I'm going in. I will FaceTime you and be like, I'm going in. I'm watching it. We're gonna see what it is right fucking now.
This is like, if you ever had an experience like that, can you call people video on WhatsApp? Is that a thing?
On WhatsApp, you can, yeah.
Okay, yeah. If you, because that's probably the easy way to do it. If you ever had something,
me and Leo's done it, so.
Even if it was 1 a.m., if I saw you calling me on that and it was like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning my time, like midnight your time, I'd roll over and be like, "Who the fuck is this? Oh my god, it's happening! It's fucking happening!"
It's happening, and that's the exact thing you need to know, because for those who don't know, a lot of times I'll go for like midnight, late night walks outside with the dogs and stuff, and look at the stars and whatnot.
Callie says yes. Also, just hit go live. Yeah, I'll put on my camera
and hit
go live and be like, "I got cat on the
and share the screen and be like, this is what's happening right now, guys. It's like, are you scared? No, I'm excited.
We're doing
I might be
this.
going home.
I might be going home. And I'd be like, hey, Kat,
I might finally get to go home.
Do you think you guys can like swing by this address? I'll send it to you. Hold on.
So listen, there's a place in Ohio I think we should go, because like we need to fucking nerd out. And we would be like those 2 kidnapped fucking idiots, where it'd be like, oh my god, dude, this is hilarious.
We're doing this.
This is the most effort anybody's ever put into me.
Do you guys have like a a probing room or anything? No, we don't do that, dude. That's just a myth. Are you sure? Like, I could really use a good.
I mean, I've got one if you want to use it.
All right, we're gonna send you back. We're gonna send you back. You're a little weird. The alien's like, yeah, we're gonna send you back.
I can show you how to do it if you want.
We're good. We're out. We're bye. Get fucking out of here.
No alien pegging? What's up with that?
I don't know. Come on, man. I thought you guys had like the cool designs. What the fuck? You have any grooved anything? No, they're like, humans are weird. Oh my god. If you weren't a 15th removed cousin of a hybrid, I would kick your ass right out of the ship.
It's just like, do we have to take them? Yes, they're very important to these people. We have to. God damn it.
Not the disappointment at the lack of
probing. They have a lot of valid information. Are you sure? Because they're talking a lot of dirt.
Yeah, we don't really know if we want this.
Unfortunately, we left them on Earth for too long.
Yeah, they're a little tainted, but we'll wipe them. Don't you worry. We'll wipe them clean. We'll
wipe them and get good info.
We'll get the good info, and then we'll get the mush out of there. Fuck that. We're out of here. We're done. Dude, this has been fun. It's about 3.5 hours, almost 4. Oh,
I
Lord.
can't believe it was that long, actually. But then I looked at the clock and I was like, oh, shit.
Oh, God. We could easily keep going, but you got chickens to take care of, so... And I gotta go take more insulin.
Take care of, and I've got like food to eat at some point besides a muffin.
I'm more than content with that ending of that.
Yeah.
I hate it's so good. It has to be true. It's so good.
And like it all clicks. Like, you know, when we're thinking about it, we're brainstorming, we're going through it, and then you have memories of things. Because, like, how many rabbit holes do I go down that, like, you don't think about it until something triggers your memory? It's like, I remember this conversation about the guy with the fucking UFO and how they would turn to goop and that they would transfer the energy into the ship itself. And then it's like, yeah.
It's so perfect. And, like, I've had and like I said, part of the whole, like I've said, I've had the ship sighting, which lost time. So I could relate to people who said that happened to them. I've had the physical beings in my room that I've seen that were just observing me. So clearly it was like a checkup that told me that there is something else out there. I watched them disappear, which told me there's some dimensional movement that they do. So I was relaying all of that. And then the last thing I didn't say was I was at my grandmother's house, which they have multiple acres up in the woods in a northern state, basically fucking higher than you, basically Canada, like going up into the Ninas, whatever the fuck that's called up there, the nonsense Canada area. Yeah, that nobody goes to that's alive. The middle
I lived up there for like a year and a half.
But isn't that like super Bigfoot? Like if there's going to be any cryptids anywhere in Canada, like that's where they're going to be.
It wouldn't be Bigfoot. There's nowhere for it to hide because there's no tree line. Like there's the tree line, and so there's no trees after a certain point.
Really? Is it all ice and stuff? Or?
It's literally just land and ice.
Oh shit, that's probably cool to see though.
There's no trees. For those who don't know, there is a tree line. So I lived above the tree line in 3 different communities, and there are a lot of stories up there of seeing things and stuff. There's nothing.
Is that like a skinwalkery kind of story and things like that too? Is that that kind of stuff?
Very skinwalkery. There's a reason you're not supposed to go out in blizzards.
Yeah,
and it's
none
not
of
because they wouldn't be able to survive. It's because they do believe in spirits that would fuck you up.
I would love to do a whole conspiracy night of just
a lot of horror stories. There's a horror movie idea I have actually from that place.
I would love to do like a conspiracy story, even if it's just a 2-hour podcast of just Canadian stuff, of just up there things that we don't know about here.
The Tickler is one that it was.
I'm sorry.
It's not called the Tickler, obviously, but Inuktitut. Yeah, I know. Okay, so there's this story. I'll end it on this
Canada's
thing. I won't get into.
I won't get into it too
deeply. The Tickler. So it's not actually called the Tickler. There's a no. Listen, it's not as cute as it sounds. So I don't remember the name of it in Inuktitut, but there's a demonic thing that goes like if you go out onto the land during a blizzard, it is said that the spirit will come for you, and you'll hear a laughing on the wind because up there all you'll hear is wind, and you'll hear a laughter on the wind, and people have allegedly been found cut up, their insides tickled out, but this tickler demon has these long claws. He'll find you and he will scratch out your insides, tickling you and while laughing at you, and people have been found gutted with smiles on their face.
Bro.
Bruh. These are the stories I'm told when I'm up there in the remote desolation of a town of less than 200 people. Yeah.
I can't get over the tickler term though, because that's such a Canadian thing to do. But
that's but it has a better name for it. But that's just
that's the censorship version in English. You know, it's not it doesn't translate well from what it actually is. I'm assuming.
My Inuktitut is very bad now. I know like Uluakut and Kianamik and.
I didn't even know they had their own language, but that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So not the liquor. Jesus
3 different
Christ.
dialects, I think, for the north.
The liquor is definitely American. So.
Isn't that from? That's actually from Resident Evil, though. I think the liquor.
Oh my god. Ori's from Ottawa. I don't know. So the thing with my grandparents' house.
So the tickler was the thing that finally got maxed out, despite all the weird stories that he was saying. Now he's leaving. Okay.
Now he's okay. The tickler did him in. Okay, cool. There's a lot of worse things that they talk about out there. I don't know what it is, but the smaller cryptids are always scarier than the bigger ones. Like I could have a giant troll walk in front of me. I'm like, cool, that makes sense. But if something the size of a gnome comes at me with a knife in the middle of the woods, like I'm fucking scared. Like I'm shitting a brick. Like I'm fucking with the little ones. But where they lived,
know why is that though? Like because
I don't know either.
And, like harder to handle and manage, maybe. Like the Chucky doll, you know.
It's got to be something like that. It's like you can't hide from it. It hides from you or something. Like, I mean, I'm just picturing myself getting shanked by a Keebler elf with a sharpened ass butter cookie or something. Like, I don't really know where this, because a diabetic, I get one cut from that cookie and I'm out. So like, it's my weakness. But yeah, this where my grandparents live, they have a 2-floor house and they have a balcony on the top of the house on the top of a giant hill up in the mountainous area, almost going into where we just talked about. None of it is above it. And they're all the way up there. And what happens is there's no lights. The closest neighbor when I was there wasn't next door where someone just moved in. It was like 10 miles down the road. So you can see everything. And when I went out on their porch, it was cold out and I just sat out there because I love just sitting out there on their 2nd-story deck that they had and just looking up at the stars because you see everything. There is nothing hidden from you where you are. You're at a super high elevation.
There's no light pollution.
No light pollution in the dark. You see everything. And I was looking up at the stars and I shit you not, because my grandmother is the one that's very spiritual, loves the Native American stuff, talked about the Pleiades, all that stuff. She has crystals everywhere. She does Reiki. It's everything. I saw what I thought was a shooting star until it took a hard 90-degree angle, doubled back, and then shot in the other direction. And that...
So it did like a boomerang thing?
Not even a boomerang. It literally it got to the edge of a piece of paper and went up the other side of the paper. Did a perfect 90-degree cut. Going so fast, it was unbelievable. And this is the stuff that the government explains. Like the Air Force people go crazy trying to tell their commanders, like, dude, I can't tell you the angles this thing took and at what speed it would change direction. It was incredible. I watched this in space. This wasn't this was like up there where satellites are, but it was super bright. Mm-hmm. You had to be looking in that direction at the time it happened because there were so many stars that if you just looked up and looked down, you never would have saw it. I was staring without blinking at the stars because they were so fucking beautiful up there. And when I say I followed this thing and I was so excited because I'd never seen a shooting star before and it went. And then when that thing fucking took a hard 90-degree angle instantly without slowing down and just went in the other direction, doubled back and then shot back where it came from and went like a billion miles an hour in that direction.
Yeah.
That was it.
But that's why I like looking at the stars here because we don't have light pollution. We don't have street lights. We don't have anything like that. It's like just if I turn off our porch light, there's no light.
Yeah, I've seen that why too.
That's why when I like going outside and looking up, like you see all sorts of weird shit, you know?
I don't want to encounter a Wendigo either.
magnificent. No, wendigos and stuff like that. Then
We don't have to get
mimics.
into all that right now. Mimics, yeah. I don't. If I run into the backside of if I see my ass, like my actual butt cheeks, facing a tree in the woods, I'm not going near my ass. I'm not spanking my ass.
No.
I'm leaving. Like, I don't want to know what
It's
the
like-
thing. I'm out. I'll admire it from a distance.
When you think you're looking into a mirror, that's.
I don't need that. I also got super freaked out because you had this thing moving behind you, but I think it's just air blowing against some hair coming off of a doll or something. I don't know what it is, but it caught my eye and I was like freaked out.
Where?
Right behind your head, like over your Nezuko.
This is a feather.
Oh, okay. It was coming off Nezuko and it's the same color as her hair, and I caught it briefly in the distance.
Yeah.
And it was like,
so one of my
throwing me for a loop.
Recently passed away, so that's some of his feathers in a little vase.
The whole night I never saw that moving, and my eyes decided right now when we're talking about cryptids, that's what I was gonna see.
Because also our heating is just right up above it. And
did that just kick on
it? Yes, and it only just turned on now because it's getting older. So.
My brain just didn't comprehend that. Yeah,
it's okay. I'm
pretty fucked up tonight after our realization and all the experiences I've had. I'm pretty sold on this right now. I'm on our last investigation, our last conversation. I'm pretty sold on the vampire side of things. I think we really hit.
Yeah.
I think at the end of our conversation, we hit a pretty solid a pretty good understanding that the vampire thing was real. It might not have been vampires, but it was bloody drink, with the whole thing. I won't get back into it. It's in the VOD, but that
the
was
whole ball cult and everything.
Yeah, I think that's real. I think that everything we talked about there is actually happening. And this alien end here is why too you missed it. So we've come to realize, I'll do a quick recap and then we're going to let Miss Cat go because she has to go see her chickies. Real quick recap of this entire 4-hour VOD that we came into a realization is, if you've watched any paranormal investigations or anything about people investigating aliens, it has, and I'm talking fast because I want to get her out to her chickens, it has all come boiled down to people seeing light anomalies or balls of energy or balls of light of green or red or different colors. We watched a video on a Soviet Union era KGB report that Russian military personnel actually got killed and or turned to stone from a ball of light, which was investigated to be 5 aliens that turned into one ball of light that then attacked them after they shot a craft with a surface-to-air missile. We had this realization that humans have investigated paranormal and all that for a while, and they always, Bigfoot investigations, everything, they always see balls of light out in the woods that are always going up. So then we thought, well, we have this KGB report that aliens turn into balls of light. So what if we don't see balls of light? We're seeing extraterrestrials this whole time. They've just been turned into light anomalies and they're being taken back up into the ship. Well, then Kat had the realization, well, I said, like, what if they travel like that? Because she was talking about, well, if you travel at the speed of light, you turn into goop. So then we're like, okay, well, you turn into goop. What if you're this ball of energy in the ship that's helping to power the ship that's also stopping you from turning into goop because you're basically a ball of light traveling at light speed? It makes fucking sense. So then we kind of were like done. We had this realization. Then Grigorsky said, well, what about the bodies on the ground and all this stuff? And we were like, okay, well, what if they're injured and they can't turn back into energy or something? And then I had the thought of, what if there's a protocol? Like, what if they're military? What if, whatever, there's a protocol that if you're visiting another planet and you get injured and succumb to that planet's bacteria or viruses and get an infection, we're not taking you back. You can't come back because then you'll infect our entire species. You'll kill all of us on the ship, blah, blah, blah. So we need to cut ties with you. So we then had a realization, maybe they don't turn into energy themselves. There's technology on their ship that can turn them into energy, kind of like beam them up. And they actually get cut off from their people and left here to die when they get injured and get flushed with bacteria, whatever. So that's compromised. Yeah. So that's the bodies that we find here that are covered up by the military. They're covered up because their own people let them go because they don't want to take them back and basically flood their entire ship with the bacteria, kill the entire crew kind of situation. They get left behind. I mean, when you think about it, when you think about it,
makes plausible sense.
It makes plausible sense that that's the direction that this would go. Callie says the same thing. So sad, right? That could be why. Okay, so last little bit of a piece of evidence.
It
when
happens
the doctor,
to bees as well, like when bees are kicked out of a hive because they have like an infection or an injury or something like that. Like when they're, or the ants when they're infected with cordyceps that turns them into that zombie thing. They're excommunicated from the hive, so it will protect the hive, and they're left to die on their own.
But that would make even more sense with the doctor's account of the creature, quote unquote creature, alien he found with the lavender eyes or whatever. And when he says it was such a calm, peaceful, understanding, no fear, no anger, no nothing in its eyes, blah blah blah. Accepting, it had probably gone through that protocol. It knows it was left. It knows it was left behind. So it was accepting of its fate. It's a very technologically advanced, intelligent being. It knows it signed on for this trip to Earth in its ship. It knew what it was signing on for. It knew that if this had happened when it went down, that it was going to be left. There's nothing it can do. It's saving its people, and it's come to harmony in terms with the fact that it is here now. It is what it is. It's probably going to die, but its people are fine and they're safe and they're up there. But they all have this understanding, and that's why it had no other emotion to have other than that's it. That's
maybe you're Keanu Reeves in the day the Earth stood still.
No, we ain't doing that shit. And if we ever get zombies, they better be the slow fuckers, not the fast ones.
We could talk about reptiles and body snatchers and such like that maybe some other time, because that's something that's coming up more and more, especially with Jim Carrey lately.
Do you realize that the night that happened, me and you were just kind of casually talking, and you said, it may be just him having, maybe he has cancer, maybe he has this, he's on medication. And then I thought the same thing. After you said that, I was like, that makes perfect sense. And then the next day, every motherfucker on the planet was covering it.
Yeah.
Literally everyone was talking about him.
The more that I thought about it afterwards, like after his girlfriend was killed.
Yeah, episode 3, Callie, yeah.
OD'd, like everybody else. After she was killed, he wasn't returning to Hollywood or anything like that, and he really fell off the map for a while, and he was just in Malibu painting, and that's what he wanted to focus on. But all of a sudden he kept signing on for more and more roles with this Sonic the Hedgehog thing, and I'm like, it's so weird because he was adamant he wasn't going to return, but then he also doesn't look the same either, so it's like, did they actually get to Jim?
That's why, like, I kind of jumped the gun right off the bat, because I had a bad feeling about it. You brought me back to Earth, and then the next day everyone was jumping the gun, and now they're actually people are researching it.
I think it's just because I'm like, he's so loved, like he's so beloved.
But he is the only one person that was outspoken.
He was the one person that was outspoken. When you look at his interviews from when he played Andy Kaufman and like the Jim and Andy documentary, he's so sound of mind and he's so intelligible, like in all of his interviews and everything like that. Like he's there, but I don't recognize this Jim. Like his mannerisms aren't him.
So again, this is just a quick blurb because we're gonna keep saying, Chickies, gotta go to Chickies, but. This is
true. It's like 8:30 now, and I'm like,
just a quick blurb of this is we talked about it in the first episode that it's the eyes.
How do you not know who Jim Carrey is? What?
I think he's like who Jim Carrey, like, or is that who we're talking about? I hope that's what he means.
I was like, how do you not know Jim Carrey? He's like the best comedian.
Remember the whole thing that you went down the rabbit hole about in the first episode was the eyes. And how people visually change through the eyes. You look at this one's eyes, it's dead. It's dead. Yeah. The eyes of this person we saw the other day, they're gone. It's like the soul.
But
it's the soul disconnecting. It's not. But it's like the soul disconnecting.
It's not his eye color.
It's not his eye color.
It's like they were drained of their life.
He's such a public figure that there is video of him from a week before this. A week with his natural haircut. Yeah. Radiant, thank you. Haircut. His short hair. I know you can wear a wig. I know you can get extensions. I know this is not the world we live in nowadays where you can be like blah, blah, blah about hair length or whatever. But he never has. So he had short hair, thin skin on his face. He wasn't puffy. He didn't have any of this look. His eyes were his natural color. He was him.
He always had like a gaunt look, you know?
Yes.
Even when he was younger, he always had the cheekbones there
Yes,
and they weren't
very
bloated. That's why I
defined.
said the cancer thing, because I was
Yes.
like, maybe he's on treatments like Val Kilmer. But because I know like Jim Carrey doesn't give a shit enough about his looks to get filler and all of that.
No,
he doesn't
he
care.
doesn't.
He had a massive beard and long hair looking like a hobo in Malibu, you know?
Definitely,
to
yeah.
this,
But
whatever they're trying to pass him off as.
This too, this kills me because it's not even just his facial expression or his features. It looks like a doppelganger. It looks like a bad Jim Carrey lookalike, like somebody they hired in Vegas to look like him.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Radiant. It's interesting. So it's not only his facial features, in his entire existence, not his eye color, not his facial features, his entire existence of him being on this planet and being publicly filmed, he's never talked like that. Not even in a movie.
Never.
He has never
Not
spoken
even in
that
a fucking
slow,
movie.
that quiet, that weird, that...
And notice how he kept adjusting around his mouth, like he was trying to like adjust. Just like he wasn't drooling or anything, but it looks like he kept doing this and rubbing around his mouth, like trying to seal.
Yeah, I
you
saw
know?
that, Cameron. Camaro.
And the way that he talked, he had very first like lips like this, like
yes.
But it's almost like he was afraid if he widened his mouth or anything, like it was gonna slip and reveal. You know what I mean?
And I do like that comment at the end that I know we talked about could just be him being him, but saying like the funniest face I'm wearing is the face I have on now. I can't unhear, I can't stop replaying that in my mind after seeing all this new evidence about it. Like
way that he was.
I just want it to be him and he's got something wrong with him and he's on medication and we're not digging too deep into this, but there's so much going on right now and it's too in our face and they don't fucking care anymore and they're not hiding it.
And what if it's a part of their brainwashing program that it bloats the face and distorts the face too? Because Selena Gomez never looked the way that she does now. And I love Selena Gomez. I do. But she does look different.
And she talks slower
and it's like,
she's quieter.
Yes. And her like her whole even the way her expression in her eyes, like I'm pretty sure people would know if I wasn't me because I'm so expressive with my face. Like I will never, guys, get that much Botox
I won't
that
either.
I can't move my face.
It could kill me.
So you know, I'll never get that much that I can't be expressive with my face because I think that aging is something that everybody should
Radiant,
do.
I believe
I don't care if
that.
pedophiles think I'm attractive or not.
So
Okay,
Selena was shown admitting things and giving, and I mean we're getting down she was shown admitting things and then she became puffy. He was talking out, he became puffy. I mean, now let's look at these people who became puffy. Who else became puffy? Who else talked out and was puffy? Like maybe if they don't quote unquote suicide them now. Yeah, maybe if they don't suicide them, they puff them.
They do this like maybe it's like a brainwashing body wash, brainwash thing.
I'm telling you right now, it's probably some type of
head.
It's probably some type of chemical injection that does something because there's chemical castration, there's stuff that fucks with your brain. There's probably some type of chemical compound that they get injected into them and their body tries to fight it off and they bloat. And they basically fill up with, solution for their body trying to fight it off. And that's probably what happens. They probably get swollen from it because it's an outside compound that's doing some fucked up shit. And like that was not okay. I don't even think that was him pretending. Like that wasn't okay. That's a cry for help if there's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was talking after a breakup with Justin Bieber and she went all out. Yeah, she didn't fucking care anymore. Yeah. And Justin is still fucked up because of that whole story about how they think he had a baby with Selena and it was sacrificed. And that made her fucking break and that broke him. And he's had his music video and stuff is him showing elites like eating people and stuff. Britney Spears got puffy too and fucking lost her shit. But she's a different story. Shit. But she was speaking out too because she was in it. She was deep. And she was one of those people who started speaking out and then she went nuts. So Anyways, we won't keep you for any longer. You got to go take care of your chickies.
No, these are all great tangents, and
But this is why you had a bad week. But this was awesome.
I love having
This was
these
awesome.
talks with you.
This was literally the best thing we've ever done. This is the best thing we've ever done. This is amazing. This is the second one, and it's this good.
This is my favorite thing we've ever done for sure, and that I've ever done. Like when it comes to like for streaming for like 5 years, I've never done this kind of content. That I think that it just was meant to be.
Yeah, I'm good with this. The starseed
I don't
friend.
even care that I don't have any viewers. It doesn't even bother me because the content is just so good, and eventually will attract the people.
No, but you have a VOD. You have a VOD for stuff, so.
I have a VOD.
But yeah, this is great. I had a fucking amazing time, but you got to go see your chickies.
I do. I have to go see my chickies, and I have to maybe order a pizza or some shit and play some Arc Raiders because I still need to make like $1.5 million.
Do it. I got to go play probably some Fortnite with some people. W Stream Radiant. The VOD's going to be phenomenal, dude. I can't wait to post it to YouTube. This is going to be a good shit, dude. And get some clips about our realization.
And I appreciate all you people in the chat too, just talking and like bringing stuff up and communicating. Saint, Grigorevsky,
Watch Cat's VOD, do it.
Everybody, like.
Yeah, thank you everybody for hanging out. I really appreciate it. This has been phenomenal.
And I appreciate you, Cosmo, my Pleiades brother.
I know, this is so much fun. All right, we gotta think about this. I gotta think about this like all night, man. All right. We can end it there.
Right,
we can end it there. All right. Have a great night.
Love you. Mean it.
I love you too. We'll see you soon. I'll just probably get a message from you in 10 minutes. Bye.
Bye.